this. Give me a clap.
Good?
I think so.
Okay, so
Clap one more time, and then go into the...
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sunday Sit Down back, episode 7.
We really need to work on like one of those intros, like the cool one. This is Sunday Sit Down.
Sunday.
Like one of those type things. That'd be really cool.
Are we gonna open the cringe at the same time?
Okay. You didn't even count down. I didn't even get to open mine.
I just sent it.
I was waiting for like 3.
I was on board regardless.
Yeah. You know what? I'm sick and tired of being ignored. Back in my day, I was the king of the crop. Now people don't care about me anymore.
Alright, guys, so if you haven't noticed, we have our third guest, Maria Fraschilla. Pronounced it right. I did it.
You did it.
Perfect, too.
Nice.
She's a very accomplished lady. She has done a lot. Bodybuilding, powerlifting, school, life,
Everything.
anything you could think of.
So today we're going to kind of dive into her a little bit, talk about it. So Maria, kind of introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us
Hi.
about you.
I'm Maria. I've done it all. Shit is fucking
That's
crisp.
good. Oh, dude.
I've done it all. Powerlifting, bodybuilding, like you said. Do digital marketing, social media for a living. I'm from New York, so you'll get my accent every now and again.
That's where that's from.
Yeah, it is.
When she starts talking fast, you can hear it.
Yeah, if I get heated too, it's really bad. Yeah, just out here. Yeah,
Popcorn. Kernel's coming up.
I mean, it's your third bag.
It is. I brought 3 bags for everybody, and then I kind of ate them all.
Bro, this man's so damn fat, bro.
Bro, tell me what you have for breakfast.
He's trying to lose weight, bro. Don't talk to
It's
him
100
like that.
calories. It's not bad.
Yeah, but when you have 3 bags, that's 300 calories.
Okay, well.
Math.
I thought it was
Anyway,
positive.
Simple.
Anyway, enough about Garrett's fat ass. Back to Maria.
Hey.
Hey.
So, how did you get started? Like, I know you did bodybuilding and powerlifting. Which one did you start with first, and how did that come about?
I started with powerlifting. I've been active like all my life. I played basketball, volleyball, softball, a bit of flag football here and there.
That's in New York?
Yeah.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
going out.
can hear in the bowl.
Yeah, softball. Played all that. I still play softball now. High school played sports year round. Then when I was in college, I basically was like trying to be a practice player for the D1 basketball team, and then I decided to do sports broadcasting. So you can't cover the games if you're on the team. So kind of got out of fitness a little bit, fell off. Started lifting here and there when CrossFit was like becoming super big. One of my friends was a trainer at the gym I worked at. He was like, all right, we're going to do conditioning. I was like, no, we're not. So that's when I stopped doing CrossFit, like 2.5 minutes in.
2.5 minutes.
Literally, he was like, do a burpee. And I was like, no.
2.5 minutes is a long time to be doing cardio.
Cross was hard, bro.
Well, we would like, so the gym I worked at was like a commercial gym. So it was like kind of crowded and small. So there wasn't really like much space. So we'd bring like barbells and stuff out into the parking lot and then do like sprints and stuff in the street. And once he told me to run around the block, I was like, absolutely not. And then he came back from his run and I was just like sitting there and he's like, all right, well, you're going to do like 30 burpees. And I was like, that's funny. I'm paying you, so I'm not doing what you tell me. I am your boss right now. And then we realized I was a little bit stronger, so started powerlifting and did my first meet in January of 2015.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so a while ago. I think I've done 7 or 8 since then.
Damn.
It's about like 2 a year, give or take.
Yeah, there was a time where I did 3 in a year, and then
Oh, fuck.
yeah, it was a very weird time. Then I tore one of my hip flexors,
I mean, that's a lot
and I
of
tore my lat. So I
Tore your
couldn't.
lat?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
yeah.
How'd that happen?
So the head of the lat and where the teres minor meet, I tore like a little bit there on both of them. I was in a prep for a meet, and I was also a trainer at the time. So I was helping someone learn how to deadlift, and I went to show them what not to do with 65 pounds on the bar, and I just felt a pop. And my whole back was like all bruised. I couldn't stand up straight. I couldn't sit straight. I couldn't lay down. Like it was anything that caused me to like retract my shoulders. I couldn't do. So yeah, that took me out for like 8 months.
Oh, that shit hurts.
That should sound like it really hurts.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully it healed pretty quickly, but I like couldn't even squat the bar
Especially like
when
flies.
I came back.
Yeah.
We're in nature.
Yeah.
We're good.
Perfect view.
Duh.
Listen here, man. Enjoy the nature.
I do enjoy it, yeah.
Look at it, the wilderness.
It's a beautiful day outside.
It is a beautiful day
There's a couple
outside.
of
Yeah.
birds.
There's a few trees if you look around, you see them.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Like at least one.
Anyway, I've never heard of someone tear. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never like.
And 65 pounds was like nothing for you.
Yeah, it's like I did a heavy pull workout before that, and I guess because I was still new, like I was super fatigued, and I went to like I loaded the bar and my back felt tight, and I went to like show her like not to round. I didn't even lift the bar off the ground. I like went to wedge in and like go to pull, and I just felt something pop, and I really couldn't even train people. I had to have like a buddy from the front desk come and like load plates for me and like everything. It was actually like really bad.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I was in PT for like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
And he was like, start running in the meantime. And I was like, okay, like sure. I was like gaining a little bit of weight. I was like, all right, fine, I'll start running. And then genetically, I don't have any cartilage in my left knee. So as I was running, the force from my femur and my tibia fibula hitting each other caused my patella to fracture.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So the pressure, from landing, it like caused it to fracture a little bit. So I was out for like another 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is like a shit
That was a bad
sandwich
year, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
And I had a really bad breakup too, like in that amount of time as well. Yeah, like a 5-year relationship, like done.
Oh fuck that.
Yeah.
This is 2015.
Yeah.
Damn, that's not a good year at all.
What was that?
No, not at all.
2015 to 2016 was like.
It's worse than 2020 for her.
Yeah, I mean, I was hurt from 2020 is pretty bad, but
Go a little too far, bud.
I was hurt from I think like I competed in January. I was hurt from like March or April of 2015 until July of 2016.
Yeah.
So I was hurt for a little over a year. And then I started competing again and like started training again and got super strong, and I was like coaching myself and doing all this stuff while working full time and also working in a gym. And then I got into grad school, and grad school was like, you have no time. And I was like, you're right. So fell off again. And then 2018, I want to say. Yeah, January 2018, after I had graduated, I decided to go into bodybuilding prep and did a figure show, placed dead fucking last.
At least you
My
did it.
coach was an absolute twat. I haven't talked to him since the day of the show. He left before finals. Yeah.
Wait, why was he a twat? Like, what did he
He
do?
left before finals.
Oh shit, that's
He
why?
came for prejudging, so I wasn't gonna place, and dipped out. And I haven't spoken to him since.
And you were paying him too?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I spent in the 6 months that I was like prepping here and there, I think I spent like $6,000 or $7,000
6 months?
between coaching, supplements, suits, tanning,
And then you just left?
posing. Yeah.
Oh dude, what a
Damn, I got like $7 in my bank account right now. I'm pissed off.
Well, you don't realize how much you're actually spending on this shit until like you look. I was paying him $75 an hour to coach me.
an hour?
Oh.
Like in person twice a week, plus an extra
Holy
like
shit.
$100 a month for nutrition plan.
Yeah.
Plus like all the posing that we did. He wanted me to go to like a specific posing coach, which I never fucking went to. I was like, I can teach myself.
Yeah.
Should have gone to the posing coach. But I taught myself how to flare my lats and spread my lats. So I mean,
So after
Who's
you
the
tore
real
it, you
winner
could flare,
here?
yeah.
yeah. But
Damn.
yeah. And then I got back into powerlifting almost immediately. I did the bodybuilding show May of 2018, like the end of May, and then November of 2018 I squatted 300 for the first time.
Oh sure.
So I also gained like 25 pounds, but I squatted 300, and that's what counts to me.
Yeah.
That was my feat.
It's
So
awesome.
one of my big questions is, I know a lot of people that once they get injuries like that take you out for that certain amount of time, it's hard for them to get back into the sport. I mean, how was that time, the contemplation time in between getting hurt and getting back into the sport? What was going through your mind?
And the
during that
breakup
time?
too, because I know it definitely played a toll too, because there's so many things you have to.
There's a lot of people that get injured and they never go back because they're scared to get injured again.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a lot of thinking that goes on in that. So I'm just curious on what helped you push through and become the person you are today.
So injuries then were very different for me than injuries now. Like I'm currently injured, but injuries then, I wasn't as serious about lifting. Like it wasn't my livelihood. It was just something I kind of did for fun, and it kind of became a coping mechanism for my mental health. But the breakup is what kind of was the catalyst into me being more into fitness, like full time. The breakup, I didn't have anything else to do, and the one constant I had was the gym. Like if I wanted to squat 200 pounds, it was always going to be 200 pounds. Like it wasn't gonna change. And like the gym was always going to be there. Maybe not in a pandemic, but like the gym was always going to be there. Like I knew that was like a safe place to go. I had friends, I had common interests, and like the weight never let me down, which was cool. However, now I have 2 herniated discs, a fractured L4, and I have grade 1 spondylolisthesis and spondylolysis in my spine, which means your vertebrae is supposed to be stacked like this, and my L4, L5 are like that.
Oh, dude. Ugh.
Yeah, so I
Pictures
just
of that.
I just pulled from the floor for the first time in a month and a half yesterday,
I saw that.
How'd that
which
go?
is my back hurts today. But I'm back into it. I literally walked into the chiropractor and I was like, I am a stubborn fuck. Like, I'm going to train, so how can I rehab and train at the same time? And I spoke to my coach and he was like, all right, well, I have experience with this, so here's X, Y, and Z to do. And I'm like, all right, bet, like, nice. So we can keep training, we can keep doing anything, but I've become a lot more, like, conscious of, like, how I feel when I lift versus, like, just moving the weight. Like, if I go in and, like, squats don't feel good on my warm-up sets, there's a difference between things feeling heavy and things not feeling right.
Yeah.
So I'll cut the workout and I'll just move it back a day and do, like, some rehab or, like, some cardio or something and just kind of wiggle around it. The best preps I've had for meets have been preps where I've taken days off. Like, you know how people are like, oh, I can push a workout, like, or I can move a workout up, or they're kind of like, I need to get this done. My best bench prep, I benched 4 times in 12 weeks.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Because nothing felt good.
Yeah.
I benched 4 times in 12 weeks, and I PR'd my bench with me.
Oh,
So, I mean, your mental space when it comes to lifting is just as important as the physical space.
Yeah.
Because if your mental space is all cloudy, you're gonna have some subconscious stress and some stress that you're not realizing that's gonna affect you, like, when you go into the gym.
Yeah.
That's why when people are like, oh, nothing feels good, like, I know I'm gonna go to the gym and nothing's gonna feel good, once you let that negativity in, it's gonna impact your workouts whether you let it or not.
That's a good quote. We need to post like that. That's gonna be one of the. I like that one a
But
lot.
what time is it?
I don't know, it's,
leave that there.
Can you like put like a little like psh, like a?
It's 1:03 p.m.
Okay, cool.
12 minutes.
That's.
You
I
know,
guess, like-
that's one of the big things that, like, we continually talk about,
Yeah.
like, being able to know yourself and know your body to the point where you know whether, okay, I can get this lift out of the way and I'll still be fine, versus this is going to be a shit lift. And knowing, just knowing your body and knowing your mind well enough to be able to make that decision. Because a lot of people, like, novices that go into lifting, they're like, oh, well, coach said I have to do this, I have to do this, and they go in there and they either hurt themselves either further, or they have a shit lift which messes up their whole mental, so now they're off for the next week and a half because they didn't get the lift they were supposed to, and it sets them back, versus just saying, you know what, I'm going to take the day off and talk to my coach and make sure it's okay, and then we'll do it again on Thursday versus on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then you actually get the lift, and it's, you know, you're a lot better, you feel better, and it's just everything works better.
Yeah.
What I was gonna go into too, like, so even like besides like the powerlifting aspect of it too, like no matter what, like if any of us didn't compete, we probably still lift, right?
Yeah.
So like the biggest thing too, I would say like with you, even when you got hurt and you couldn't really train, like I can't imagine that mental toll too, because like if I didn't have like the gym, honestly, like me or you or anybody else,
I blow up.
the whole life would. People don't realize how big of like a part like lifting is about your like normal life too. You kind of plan your whole entire day, week around lifting. It's also kind of stupid to somebody who doesn't like actually like work out. But
yeah, but
everything
it's,
you do.
it's take it out of working out and just put whatever passion you have in there.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have that anymore, it's going to negatively impact you. Like,
Yeah.
I've been suicidal twice in my life, and both times was when I wasn't doing anything athletic.
Yeah.
Or anything, like, fitness related or, you know, active in general. So that's kind of my saving grace when it comes to that. And when it comes to knowing your body, it's even outside of lifting, you know? If you feel like something's off and you go to a doctor and they keep telling you, like, no, you're fine, but something's still off. Like, it's kind of advocating for yourself in that sense, where it's like, no, I know my body. I know my body better than most people do. So if I feel like something's off, I need someone to trust me in that aspect, whether it's coaching, doctors, friends, whatever it is. And, like, that's the cool thing about training with Trevor. Like, he gives me a 5% wiggle room when it comes to my percentages. So if I'm supposed to hit, like, 77.5% and things feel like shit, I can drop it or I can go up in whatever aspect I want. But the other thing is, like, having people that understand that. And a lot of people get caught, like the novice lifters, like you were talking about, it's a lot of ego lifting, and they focus
100%.
on, you know, like 1 rep maxes, when in general, volume, like PRs, to me are more important than 1 reps. And Adolfo and I were kind of talking about this yesterday. Like, if I'm doing a 4x4 at 82%, that is 16 reps at 82%. That's a shit ton of volume that I probably have never touched before. But now the next week, I'm allowed to wiggle between 5%. So now I'm at 82.5 and I dropped down to like 77.5 around there. I'm getting in my head because the weight's not the same. But now I'm doing a 5x5 instead of a 4x4. So kind of when it comes to being more of like a veteran in the lifting space, you kind of take into consideration the fact that like it's not all numbers, it's more how you feel, the volume, etc. And I think like a 3, 4, 5 rep PR is way more important than a single like 1 rep max, unless you're in a meet, obviously.
Yeah, because like I mean, I know you have to do percentages. So Garrett and I, like as people know, we coach each other, and since we're very vocal with each other, like we give each other the same amount of wiggle room, but we do RPE based. Like let's say like our first week, let's say on squat for Garrett, he does 505 for 3. The next week I'll be okay. Well, there's gonna be one more higher RPE. But between like 510 and 520, like I'll let you pick.
Yeah.
And usually like Garrett and I will walk, we lift together too, so we'll talk to each other, like listen, I feel like shit today, I'm gonna take the bottom half.
Yep.
And then we go do that, or like, okay, listen, I feel great today, can I push it a bit and go the 520? Or even with me, I'm a big Sunday guy. So,
You're a very big Sunday guy. Very big.
I've seen that.
so the thing is, Garrett and I, we're very similar, very opposite. So we're very similar in our intensity, but we're very opposite to where he's more conservative and I'm more send it.
Yeah.
So that helps us both because in my mind, especially on deadlifts, and you guys know that's my shit. I'll go in there and be like, oh, I'm doing 675.
kilos.
No, actually, he PR'd.
Damn.
Listen.
He had an all-time PR in kilos, actually.
Okay, listen. Kilos did cut me off one time. They did hit me in the face. They had me in the first half, but came back. Anyways, back to my lifts. So like I'll walk into the gym saying like, oh, I'm gonna do 675 for 4 today. And then Garrett's like, dude, you have an RP of 7. Like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I can make it move fast enough. Yeah. And then next thing I end up doing 635, and it's
so like,
better.
I'll typically undershoot it, so I'll be like, all right, Brandon, I want him to go around like this kind of range, like intensity-wise. Like, all right, I know he's gonna send it anyway, so let me just put it at 6. I know it'll end up being like a 7 or 8 RP. That way, I can kind of plan ahead. All right, if I put a 6, he's still gonna send it, but it'll be less than if I put like a 7 or 8. You know?
It's like when your friend's always 30 minutes late, so you start telling them like something's
That's
30 minutes earlier.
And that's the good thing about having a good relationship with your coach, because then your coach can see that and they can trick you. But now since I know he's tricking me, I'm gonna send it even more.
Yeah, but the other thing is like RP is also the same in the sense like there can be other factors that come into how things feel. So if you're doing 505 for 3 and that's supposed to be a 6, the next week you might not have slept well. You might have been fighting with people. You might have had a shit ton of like schoolwork to do. So you're on a computer, so you're mentally drained. You're fatigued. You're not eating it. Like whatever it is, that can skew your RP too. And I think that's where, like I was saying, like a lot of novice lifters, they get so wrapped up in numbers. Like, everyone would love to go up 5-10 pounds each week and have it feel like the RP it was the week before.
It's not optimal.
It's never very linear.
And a lot of time it is looking at social media too, because like especially like if you have a lifting page and you follow all lifters, that could be great for your mental. Also be very like taxing because you can go into the week and be like, okay, listen, I'm tired this week, and then I go on and see Garrett just deadlifted 635 for a set of 5, and I'm like, oh shit, well if he's doing it, I could do it. So then next thing you put yourself in the gym, and then next thing you know, it's like injury, or since you weren't all there today, your warm-ups feel slow, and you just ignore your warm-ups, and that's what you have to pay attention to every single one of your warm-ups. If 135 feels heavy, then hey dude, you should probably dial it down.
Well, there are those cases.
I get better as I warm up.
I hope so.
Usually when I gauge, so like let's say I'll gauge around 4 to 6 plates.
Yeah.
Now if 4 plates is still moving like shit, I'm like, okay, let's see how 5 plates move and it still moves like shit. And I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's like some people they like you have to know yourself too, because some people they know from the get go. Like they're doing cat cows, but I feel like shit. Yeah. Then it's like, okay, well, like
if a cat cow hurts, you should probably take the day off.
But I mean, I know some people like that. They're like, they'll walk into the gym, like, okay, like, I don't feel great, but maybe I'll feel better once I start warming up.
Yeah.
And they'll start doing stuff, and literally just look slow, feel slow, and they're just like, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing it. And the next thing you know, they're out here looking like a cat doing deadlifts, and they hurt themselves because they're like, okay, I should be able to do this. 'Cause I've done this before.
And that's the thing, people don't take days off. They don't, like a lot of people don't realize that rest days are a part of training. It's not like a
But-
free day.
That's tough for like younger lifters too, you know. When I was younger, you know, I just wanted to train.
I train 7 days a week.
I never had a deload week.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what deload was.
But
I would skip it
I guess-
every single time.
So like an old head. I guess when you get a little bit older, when you're young, you kind of like
Listen here, Mr. 22.
when you get like 20s up,
back,
start to
back
feel
in my
a
day, I
little
used to send it.
Back in my
7
day, I
days a
did
week.
used to send it. Now I can't.
Yeah.
It is my day, so I'm sending it still.
I
always
peaked
send it.
in like fucking elementary school, so I don't know.
Ooh, okay, could real quick.
But
Badass.
that is,
Dude, these shits are. It's like toffee. It's like
they're
getting.
so good.
Everybody take. Brandon,
I
take
had
one.
one already.
I'm still full on Fruit Loops.
I ate like 4 bags of
So if you guys
popcorn.
don't know, this morning I decided to eat a lot of Fruit Loops. So I got like a whole family size box and poured it inside one of those big serving bowls, and then poured like.
Go big
more-
or go home.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. I poured about a whole gallon of lactated milk. I'm lactose
Can you hear me
intolerant,
chewing it, Mike?
and I ate that. So it was fun. So I'm still full from that. It was about 4,100 calories worth of Fruit Loops. So I'm gonna stick off on the cookies.
Lactate milk?
I'm lactose intolerant.
Why
Unless,
not almond milk?
because almond milk messes with the taste of the cereal.
Not
Oat milk.
Unsweetened vanilla. I'm telling you, that's
Oat milk.
that's what I do, and you can't taste the difference.
Listen, I just stick to what I know because if not, I don't want this area to smell like my booty.
It's gonna smell like the gym. Hopefully it doesn't.
The gym smells so bad though. If you ever like walk in there, it smells like if you're in there for a long time, you don't smell it. But then as you like walk in fresh,
I threw up during my workout the other day.
and like half the
Does
dudes
it smell?
half the dudes at bodybuilders were like farting the entire time.
Some-
They do
Some
fart.
lady
That shit pisses me off.
Some lady had a sandwich from Publix, and it smelled. I thought it was one of the trainers heating up food. I really did. I was like, this motherfucker is heating up fish again. Like, come on.
Oh shit.
But so I like did one of these things where I walked around and I was like sniffing my shirt because it smelled like dirty fish.
Yeah.
And I'm like sniffing my shirt and I'm like, all right, it's not me. Like I showered twice today. Like I'm good. Like it's not me. So I'm like doing my like laps. I walk to the front. The front of the gym doesn't smell where the microwave is. So I'm like, if it's not him, who is it? And then it turns into like this game of like guess who or clue. And I'm like, all right, so it's this one with the fish sandwich by the monolith. Like that's what it is. And I went to bench and it just like shot into my face and I had to go like yak in the bathroom.
Oh, that's so sick.
And I like went up to Kenny and I was like, is it me or does it smell weird back here? Black Kenny, one of Ryan's clients.
Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hollywood Code, yeah.
I don't know his name. I don't know his name.
We know who are the Instagram names.
Sorry.
Nobody called me
Kenny.
Brandon. I'm Bam Bam.
You are Bam Bam. But I went up to him and I was like, you smell something or like is it me? And he's like, no, it's terrible. I was like, all right, cool. I opened like the back door. I had like my head outside, and I was like,
What's that smell?
it smells so fucking bad.
See,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
but it's okay to fart in the gym. I fart sometimes.
Depending on the person.
You can't crop dust.
Depending on the
pillow.
person, because
Oh no! If you're doing, so I'm saying like in the middle of a lift, like if you're doing like a heavy squat,
Oh,
you're
that's
pushing,
fine.
and something comes out. And
but no,
alright,
like the
I get it.
bodybuilders that kind of like purposely just like fart in their area, just to do it, you know.
It's like pissing on a hydrant. It's like marking
Yeah.
territory.
Bro, we shit on bodybuilders.
And
so
they tell you too. They're like, hey, I farted there, like, bro.
I mean, I've done it, but
They
like,
don't. They
it's
won't
not
tell you
fun.
They told me before, like, they're
no
like,
one,
they must
no
like
one
you
holds
then.
safety anymore. Like
I
no
do.
one.
I do.
I mean, like I'll like walk through and I'll be like fully crop dusted.
and
And
you
I'm
like,
like,
you have to like taste it.
I mean, we have two bathrooms. I just go to the bathroom. I open up the little side door and I outside the door.
I need to catch whoever is blowing up those bathrooms and leaving it like their
There's
asshole
so-
exploded
They don't
all over the toilet.
They don't put the spray. They don't put the fan on. They just kind of let it.
No, but it's like all like it's not like in the toilet. It's like all around like the bowl, and I'm like, how do you?
I mean, that must be some night cruise shit because
It's not.
Dude, it must be
Probably.
I'm seeing it now.
bro, that must be some night cruise shit because
We don't do that
you
shit.
don't see that in the daytime.
We're fine.
It's.
The 1 o'clock regiment,
I
you don't
think
see
it's in
that.
between you guys and when I go in.
It's
So
like the
it's
weird,
between
like, middle-
3 and like 5:30, and I'm like, which one of y'all? Like, who's doing this?
Bro, I swear.
Whoa.
It's so funny, like especially in our gym, how we have like different times. Like it's like everybody has like like night crew. It's like so like I come at 5 o'clock, and the 5 o'clock is just a huge swarm of people. Then 1
It's so
o'clock they
crazy
just
at
show
5
up.
o'clock.
I
Like,
get irritated every time at 5 o'clock, and I still go.
Yeah.
why
Like
is it
I'll
so-
be in the
why
car and I'm
regiment?
like, oh, it's gonna be so crowded. I'm like, I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Like I work from home and then I go to the gym. I'm like, I have freedom.
It's so free, like when
Like-
we're there. Because at 1 o'clock, there's just us.
No, yeah, 1 o'clock is literally just me, Garrett, Adam, and Foodie. And then Adam is a firefighter, so sometimes his schedule varies. So sometimes it just ends up being me, Foodie, or me and Garrett, or just us three. And then like there'll be like one more. Like there might be some.
bodybuilder.
There might be
Nice.
like Amber might be there training somebody.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's usually pretty open. We play whatever you want, and we go live, talk crap.
Yeah.
and then we leave around 3.
Well, I used to go at night too. And it was just, dude, I would hate it because everybody would like be talking. Everybody was so like tight. There'd be no fun.
Unless you go at the
It's
Jake, unless you go
so
at the Jake and Hunter time.
I come like right
Was it,
before
like, 9?
them. I'm like there an hour before Jake and Hunter.
Yeah.
So like I'm able to like get my like compound lifts in, and then once I'm starting my accessories, they like roll in, they take over everything. No offense.
So
And the metal and shit.
The music,
does Jake still wear sunglasses at night? Is he walking with a Ray-Bans on?
You guys missed it yesterday.
What time did you come yesterday?
What time did I get there? Like
Could we-
4?
You did,
Ish,
yeah.
You got there
They're
late.
playing Screamo Christmas music.
Y'all?
Yeah, y'all were gone, but
Like
y'all were way
Screamo
gone.
Oh my
Christmas
god,
music.
They have that?
They have it, and it was weird and fantastic all at the same time. I was like,
Oh.
I was like texting my friend Doug, and I'm like, they're playing Screamo like Christmas music,
What does that sound like?
and I'm so distracted. It's
Can you put that on?
Is it like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but just
yes,
It's
but
like
just
Scream?
like oh
No
yeah.
way.
That's,
Yeah.
I feel like I love that.
I
No,
kinda
it
wanna
was
hear
great, but it was so distracting because like you hear like the music and you're like, shit, I'm getting into
Well,
it,
sometimes-
and all of a sudden it's like,
Jingle
oh, like
Rock.
yes.
You ready? Jingle
Yeah.
Rock.
Alright.
Oh, fucking ad.
I hope
Fucking ad.
everyone can hear it though. Like
Yeah,
you gotta like
we
come
also
closer.
don't get copyright struck either.
I don't think we will. I think we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
They can't understand the lyrics. Why would they?
But I don't know how you look up a rock song, but hey, what's that song? How do you look up a metal song? What's that song that goes?
Oh.
I don't like that cover. Oh shit! What the hell is that?
I was not ready for that. I was not ready.
Bro, that is
I walk in like my basic like white girl outfit with my Starbucks in hand, and all of a sudden I hear like Jingle Bell Rock, and I'm like,
You
oh,
hear
this
the,
is
you
dope.
hear the bells.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, what is happening here? Like,
I had clients come in and they always feel like when I go to your time too, they hear the music, they start like getting scared, you know? They jump like, what the fuck is that?
Wait, so going off topic, did they get your name wrong at Starbucks too?
so okay.
Wait, first name or last name?
They get everybody's name wrong. Like I go Brandon, and they're like Kenny. I'm like, who the fuck's Kenny? And they say my drink. I'm like,
You look like a kid.
yeah, I look like Kenny.
You should say Bam Bam from now on.
They'll still get that
No,
wrong.
they'll probably get that right.
They'll probably put Pebbles.
It's simple. Well, either way, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes I got Miranda last week, and I was like, all right, I was wearing a mask when I said it, so I understand.
Yeah.
But I have a very big issue with people calling me Mariah instead of Maria. Like a huge issue. My brother does it on purpose. My friend Wayne does it on purpose. And they're like, hey Mariah, how's it going? Like, Mariah, did you get this? And I'm like, I'm fucking kill you. But I have like severe like mental issues if you guys haven't realized. But it all goes back to this Barbie computer game that I had where I would try to spell my name anyway and she would always say Mariah. I spelled it Mareea, Mariah. Maria, Mariah. Marya, Mariah.
Nightmares.
And like it was like this Barbie carousel game, and it was like a mystery, and like it was so cool, Detective Barbie. But like this is when like PCs were a thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys had a PC,
Yes.
like a big like
Yeah, yeah.
motherboard,
Yeah.
like everything. Okay.
I remember.
We're not that young.
We had like a computer room,
Younger.
and like you like had like AOL, and it would go, and like you couldn't be on the phone and like on the computer at the same time. Yeah, that was a great
DSL.
DSL. Yeah.
Dial-up.
I used to get LimeWire, and my mom used to get so pissed.
And you'd
because-
always get Bill Clinton. Always.
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 Wait, what's LimeWire?
You don't know what LimeWire is?
Oh shit, here we go. No.
Okay, well, let me tell you something about Gary.
No,
Gary-
but
no,
all
Gary-
right, hold on.
Brandon
He's
and I
younger
are
than you.
felons.
He's younger
What
than you.
is a LimeWire?
So when you wanted to, like back in the day,
I seen the emoji, like the little like image.
yeah, back in the day when you wanted music, like there was no like iTunes.
But there was LimeWire, there was FrostWire before
Yeah.
LimeWire.
So there was no like you couldn't just go on the website and like download a song. You
No,
couldn't download
YouTube.
a song on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was
There was
YouTube.
YouTube, but you couldn't like download the song from there. So what you had to do was, all right. So what you had to do was you had to go on a website called LimeWire, which was illegal.
We're
And-
felons.
It was really illegal.
Yeah, it was piracy.
and like
Shit.
and like your like
Oh,
and your
shit.
your computers get viruses and stuff, and like the whole family would share a computer. So my mom would come in the room just pissed off, like, who the hell's downloading music? And then in between me and my older sister, and they'd look at the songs. It was Chris Brown and my sister. If it was more like Big Time Rush, it was me.
Oh
But,
my
like,
God,
Big Time
yes.
Listen,
Uh,
Did they even exist
oh.
Did it? No, they didn't know existence, did they?
yes, they did.
Yeah.
Later on, like it was like at the end of it.
Yeah.
If it was, so let's say to make it more, I was an Outcast. I was a big Outcast kid, like you know Outcast Andre 3000.
Yes.
So like I had like a little CD that I made like my dad for Christmas one time because me and my dad used to listen to Outcast. So that's how I got the songs from LimeWire. We got the virus and my mom got so pissed, but then she noticed it was for my dad's Christmas present and then it was okay.
Ah.
But
So
This is
yeah,
a music
with
platform.
LimeWire, yeah, you would basically like search whatever the music is, and you'd be able to download it for free. And 9 times out of 10, you would get Bill Clinton saying, "I did not have sexual relations with that
Are you
woman." It was
serious?
like a fake,
Yes.
like download.
Oh, shit. No way.
It was like a Rick Roll.
Yeah, it was like Rick rolling
Damn.
before Rick rolling was a
Yeah.
thing, but it
He
kept
gets so
getting
pissed.
shut down. And then when like iPods became like super big and like the
Those little-
iTunes store and
Little
all of
baby
that.
ones, the shuffles.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had one. I still have one. It's orange. It like clips onto things.
Yeah, it's kind of
Jake
cool.
still has one.
But
Yeah,
like
he has
when
a
those
touch.
became bigger, they started shutting everything down because like Apple was trying to like monopolize like I guess music purchasing.
Yeah.
But you could use a YouTube to MP3 converter.
Mhm.
So you would have so you would have like a website, you'd put the YouTube link in there, and then like I was like really like OCD about it, like anal retentive about it. So my iTunes, instead of like the gray like music note, I would like pull album like artwork off of online and like upload it to iTunes and make it look like I bought the music.
Oh, this just sounds really legal.
It was like real illegal.
Damn, you guys are villains.
Yeah, and I still kind of do that sometimes because I pay for Spotify Premium, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
You did not hear any of this.
You heard it. I said it. If the FBI wants me,
Of
Let's
all
go.
things,
They don't give a
music.
fuck.
I can really
Yeah.
focus on my fitness in jail. Like, we'll be good. It's
That's
fine.
a lot more stuff to worry about right now. It's 2020.
Yeah, it's a weird time.
Ah.
But yeah, Big Time Rush was the shit though. I see. I used to watch. So I was the kid.
We got into this the other day.
Yeah. So I was a kid that at school like, nah, I don't listen to that shit, bro. I don't listen to Big Time Rush. I don't like Justin Bieber. Like back in my room though. I closed the door.
Yeah.
TV went on, boy.
Yeah.
You know
Hey.
who Carlos from Big Time Rush is married to?
Who?
The Spy Kids chick.
Really?
And
No
they have a
way.
kid.
I had the
Yeah.
biggest crush on her.
Well,
Whatever,
She's a
Pa-
fucking
Vega or
Bro,
whatever.
so funny story. My first two crushes. My
And
first
Megan
two
Trainor
television-
is married to the boy from Spy Kids.
Really?
What's his name?
Yeah,
What's his
yeah.
name? It's
Junie?
He's no.
Yes,
I'm thinking-
Junie is his name in
That's
the
Spy
movie.
Kids.
I'm thinking of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Something.
Okay.
No, that's Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
So,
of.
so
I don't know who Love
So
Girl is.
my first two crushes on TV were Miley Cyrus, not Hannah Montana. I don't like that fake shit. She was too fake when she was Hannah. She ain't listen to her friends. She was acting like a block. Like, I don't like that shit.
Sweet
Brown hair,
nipples.
brown hair Miley. That was my first crush. And then it was Spy Kids. Spy Kids girl.
Who's the Nickelodeon girl?
And then it was Megan Good. Because Megan Good, she's a baddie.
I
Love
mean,
you, baby.
yeah. I don't think she's gonna watch this.
Yeah.
She's not, but if she does, I'm here. Ah ha ha. Back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
we went from LimeWire and then we went to Big Time Rush.
Oh, I fuck so heavy with Big Time Rush.
They're so good.
I love
I'm thinking of
boy
One Direction.
bands.
What am I thinking of?
One Direction. I,
You think
Is
of
it-
Jonas
I-
Brothers?
I
Is it
love the
Jonas
Joe Bros.
Wasn't that a show too?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
all like had shows.
But the Big Time Rush show is better than Jonas Brothers show.
I'm thinking of, oh, dude,
Jonas Brothers didn't
there's so
have
many good
Yes, they
Nickelodeon
did.
Disney Channel shows.
Big Time Rush had
They
a
did
very
have a
good
show.
storyline.
They had movies.
No,
The Jonas
Jonas
Brothers?
had a show.
Yes, they
They're
did.
in high
They had a
school.
show. I'm
Yes,
pretty
they
sure
did.
they
Yes, because they had to go
I
to a
think I
public
remember.
they had to go to a public high school.
Yeah, and they
And
moved
they-
to like
they had-
LA or whatever.
Yeah,
and that was when Frankie was like first in it.
There was like time around like what Wizards, wherever the place, or that was after.
Yeah,
Was it?
It was all around the same time.
Yeah.
Because that was a good show too. I
it was
love that
right
show.
before they broke up. It was like,
Oh yeah, it's called Jonas.
yeah.
I was more of a Cartoon Network kid, but I did watch some Disney Channel stuff.
Ooh,
Nickelodeon
I
was
love
good,
Cartoon
too.
Network.
See, Nickelodeon, I like to watch like Rugrats and stuff like that on Nickelodeon, but like on Cartoon Network they
Fun
had
fact: my grandpa used to call them the Bumpy Heads
The Bumpy
because he
Heads.
couldn't remember their name for Rugrats.
they did have bumpy heads.
did.
But the one movie about Chucky's mom, I cry every single time.
Is it the orange tape one?
The orange
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah, the Paris.
Rugrats in
was it-
Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk
Yeah,
about his
that's-
mom.
that's
Bro,
right.
You
I-
remember
it's
the
so
one
sad.
where Tommy tries to kill his brother in the woods with all the
Yes.
monkeys? Okay.
Yes.
I like that's like a fever dream to me. Like I don't think it was real.
Yeah.
But then when other people start to remember it, I'm like,
Okay.
all right, it's not
See,
me.
some of those shows and stuff back then, they were really messed up. Like
Word.
some,
Go
so if we're gonna stay on this topic, so I'm gonna talk about like
Oh,
Like, they either had, like,
oh my
adult-
gosh. Wait, no, wait. Oh yeah, they went away. They just like
I think
landed.
you're okay.
so they either had like adult
Crisis.
jokes
Yeah,
in
dude,
there,
Merry
or
Christmas.
they had very like dark humor, like Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That was a really good show.
I
bro.
love
that
Courage.
show.
super good show.
It's so
but
scary too,
but
bro.
super dark humor.
Bathtub Barracuda gave me some real confidence.
Muriel,
That's a very good.
Bathtub Barracuda.
Oh, and
He's
the-
like, Courage, you can be
Yeah.
anything you want. You're perfect the way you are, Courage. And I was like, Bathtub Barracuda, yes. That was like the background of my phone for like 4 years.
Nah.
But they did have a lot of conspiracy theories about that. They're like, oh, like Courage, like
You remember that
He's
one?
like, his family was like dead or something.
yeah,
And, like,
Yeah.
and
he was, like,
then
haunted.
he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
anxiety and all that stuff.
You remember
I
that
mean,
one episode?
mood.
It was like that. was that one episode that kind of gives me nightmares. So it was like when they're outside, it's like return the slide.
Oh, yeah.
That shit was scary, bro. I
King
was like, what?
Ramsey.
Huh?
King Ramsey with the
And then
plague.
the old guy just like shuts the door on him.
My
Yeah.
brother's favorite episode was the macaroni and cheese one with like baby Muriel. There's like
Oh,
more
yeah.
macaroni, more cheese,
Oh my God.
not
That
enough macaroni.
That shit was so weird. That it's
so
still like.
weird.
So I'm wearing this shirt because the first time. So all right, background story about how I first talked to Maria. So I followed her first. She didn't follow me for a while because you know I'm not cool, whatever.
Okay.
But then I was working out one time and I was wearing this shirt. Big SpongeBob fan. She was like, I love SpongeBob.
I did.
So I was like, I love SpongeBob. So we started quoting SpongeBob, and I had to make sure she'd keep up with my quotes to see if she was cool enough.
What do you know about that?
What you know about SpongeBob? SpongeBob has the funniest adult jokes ever. Like,
I have rewatched SpongeBob probably about 12 times. I don't even, were you alive when SpongeBob came out?
I don't think so. What year did it come out? 1990 something, right?
98.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in 98, so.
But there's an episode of
I'm like the
SpongeBob.
OG.
There's already an episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob gives Gary 2 bars of soap and says, "Here's some doubloons. Don't drop them." And then puts them on the ground. So he said, "Don't drop the soap," and then puts it straight on the ground and looks at him.
What about when he's watching the choral dance?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, corn.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
Gary!
Yeah. There's a lot of. So we're going soft.
The new
right
episodes
now.
kind of suck now, though.
The new episodes do suck because now they're trying to get cool with the graphics and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Like,
kinda
they should
Yeah,
just keep it
it's
OG.
too much. Like, I have a friend that works, like, in content for Nickelodeon, and, like, I, like, message him every now and again, and I'm like, yo, fix SpongeBob. And he's like, I have no control over that. I'm
Yeah.
like, but
I
you
think-
could.
I think it's because people start catching. I think because now parents are the people that are watching SpongeBob,
Yeah.
so they start catching up on the adult jokes, and they don't want their kids. They complain, whatever. So now they make it more child friendly.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, every single TV show, every single cartoon had some sort of dark humor, some sort of
You
adult
know, like
jokes in
Cartoon
there.
Network, they always mention now, like all the moms on Cartoon Network are always like
They're
abnormally
thick as fuck.
thick,
They're
like
so
crazy
thick.
thick. And you can't have that today.
That's
Bro,
something
Dexter's
with
Laboratory?
Yeah.
Her mom,
Yeah, let's talk about Dexter.
His mom was so thick, bro. Oh my god. Or the worst part was,
Jimmy Neutron's mom was thick, too.
Jimmy Neutron's mom was thick, but
Yeah.
what was it? Was it Powerpuff Girls? You never saw the lady's face.
Yeah.
But she was thick as hell.
Bell.
Yeah, the mayor.
Bro,
yeah,
she
the
had a
mayor's
big old
helper.
booty, bro. Oh, some thick ass cartoons, man.
Great.
There
Okay.
was some. Oh my god.
Oh my Brandon.
Mrs. Incredible. Like, Dexter's mom paved the way, so, like, Dexter's mom walked, so Mrs. Incredible could run.
Mrs. Incredible.
It's incredible. Oh my god.
She's
Mrs.
thick
Like,
and she's flexible.
Elastigirl?
She's
Oh
thick
my-
and bro, she Elastigirl.
She can do a split on it. That's what she can do.
Okay, we're
That's
not.
where I'm going.
That's such a good movie too.
Such a good movie.
Mr. Incredible.
Second
so
one's good
lucky.
too.
He got fat though, so he better watch out.
How do you fit in that car? It's like Shaq trying to fit into a Buick. Doesn't happen.
I feel like you can move the seats a certain way. But have you seen so my funniest thing ever is go on Google and type in either like NBA players next to their wives or like type in like professional strongman.
Look at Halfthor next to his wife.
Yeah, it's a professional strong. You look like type in Brian Shaw next to. Well, Brian Shaw's wife's kind of tall.
Yeah.
But if you type in Shaquille O'Neal next to his wife is literally at his hip bone.
That man's shoe is the size of, like, from her knee to her ankle.
Bro,
Easily.
like I feel bad for when she, like, imagine her giving birth. Like Sharif is huge.
Yeah.
That's a big old boy.
Imagine her, like, not being on top.
Okay, so back to Maria.
We gotta
Wish.
warn about that.
Huh?
Nothing.
I've seen memes.
Every single podcast I'm in, somehow sex comes up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
I mean, I
It's
have
a
nothing-
natural thing, guys.
You know what? It's okay.
I
It
said
happens.
Pornhub saved 2020 in the last podcast I was on, which is true. I mean, but
Kinda.
it's fine.
It
They gave
sucks.
away premium for free.
You see what?
They give it. It's like
Nobody told me.
It's on their banners like the entire year.
It's on there the whole entire year. It's always get it free now.
Yeah.
It's like it never goes away. Like
I just have my go-tos.
But also, oh god,
I feel like you can look up the actual video you want on premium and just put in the like actual Google search. It'll come up somewhere. You know.
my favorite, like, I love Pornhub for a lot of reasons, but
My
my
mom fucking watched
favorite
this.
was April Fool's a couple of years ago. They made it Cornhub,
Yeah.
and it was just all videos about corn.
You're serious?
I remember
Yes,
that.
and that was
remember
it was like the first page like was all like videos about corn.
No
and it was
way.
like my favorite.
That
Yeah.
sounds so funny. I
That was
don't
It
know.
was
pretty sick.
so
Yeah.
great
I have too much calluses for all that. But anyway,
for corn. Or
no, don't worry about it.
We gotta transition topics.
So
Speaking of
Let's flip the script.
speaking of that website stuff, we're gonna talk about kind of social media too. I
Yeah.
know it's kind of a big thing. So you kind of want to explain like kind of.
Pornhub, social media.
It's kind of similar.
Speaking of
So-
Pornhub, social
so-
media. Boom.
Transition.
So.
I have a good transition.
Go ahead.
All right.
Transition it.
So, speaking of Pornhub, OnlyFans, you can only access through a specific link, which means you have to advertise on Instagram, and that's why social media is bad. You're welcome. Segue.
Elaborate on that.
Boom.
Yeah.
You have to have a direct link in order to visit someone's OnlyFans. So in order to actually advertise it, you have to do it through like
Your
Twitter,
bio and stuff?
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So people have to know you have one.
yeah. I've like looked into it because I was very intrigued as to how people were like staying anonymous, which
Yeah.
they're not.
Mm.
But it's not like TikTok or Instagram where they have like a For You or an Explore page. Like you have to have a specific URL in order to access that person's thing. Like you can't just like
Like search,
Find them.
like look, like explore and stuff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like that sucks.
yeah. So like that's why like
We used to make a lot of money on it too.
oh
Yeah, a
ton.
shit ton of money.
Shit ton, which I'm like, do your thing, girl.
Oh, nothing
like,
against
make
it, yeah.
the money. I don't care, but like, cut me in if you need like help.
Yeah, like you can like film.
Like
and shit.
shoot.
I'll film. I'll like tell you what angles are.
But like
good,
those
I'm
girls,
good.
like the top like 5 to 1%. Like you imagine how much they make.
Bro, I'm gonna start showing up at the pit at 1 o'clock in the morning when no one's there and pulling in the damn speedo.
There's a girl on Pornhub that does naked lifting. My friend sent it to me the other day.
Nice.
I'm about to start. And I pull
For a
sumo.
while. What's
Yeah.
her name? Siri.
Yeah, she was doing like naked snatches or something. I'm like, I don't want to see
Naked
that.
snatches.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's just.
But so
Could
it's
you
kind
imagine like
of.
being in the pit at 1 a.m. and like someone walking in, you're just like, hello.
Bro,
That's what matters there.
bro, you know what's so funny? If I'm doing
Yeah.
that, imagine recording your video and then Chance coming up licking your ankle.
Oh, imagine Eric watching the film later. What the fuck?
Okay, cut that part off.
Okay, so social
Okay,
media.
yeah. So kind of explain like what you do for a living, kind of your main
Yeah.
like focus. Let's go.
So I do digital marketing, social media marketing. On the organic side, I'm trying to get into like the paid advertising side. So organic is more the way that I kind of break it down for people. Organic is brand awareness. Paid social is revenue. So organic is growing things through like specific brand content, storytelling, educational things like that.
Like, just post.
Whereas paid would be, all right, I want to make money off of this. I want to drive people to a specific thing, like a specific action, and make some money. So there are two very different things. So I handle mostly organic. So I do like everything: video, graphics, photography, analytics, reporting, copywriting, blog writing. Community engagement, community management, growth, strategy, really everything. Yeah. And now I'm dabbling into like the paid side so that I can basically corner the market for, you know, like Google ads, YouTube ads, which are kind of like the same, under the same umbrella, Twitter ads, Snapchat ads, Reddit, Shopify,
Oh, shit.
Facebook, Instagram. So I'm doing all those certifications now while I
Yeah.
have time. So
I saw you at the Twitter one this
Yeah,
morning.
Snapchat, right? We
yeah,
got Snapchat.
I did about 7 or 8 this week.
Damn.
I've been studying nonstop. Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
How
though.
do you go about getting those? Is it through your company or
So no, a lot of them are actually free. So
Yeah.
the funny thing is, when I was in undergrad, so I graduated in 2014. So when I was in undergrad, social media marketing and like social media wasn't like an actual field that you could go into. It just kind of complemented anything digital.
Yeah.
So anything like web, email, anything like that. So it was kind of complementary, whereas now people are using social to primarily market, and then email, digital are like complementary to that. So they had no classes. I took no classes. I majored in film and broadcasting and digital media in undergrad, and then social journalism in grad school. But I basically walked into a job. They were like, "You want to do social media for us?" And I was like, "I have a Facebook, sure." Thrown completely into the fucking ring.
They just picked you randomly and said like go
No,
for it?
so I had interned there in the
Okay.
marketing department, and then I started like dabbling in social a little bit. And my friend Mary, who I'm still friends with, she was like, "I need someone for social." It was for the New York City Marathon, so she was like, "I need someone for social. I want you to do it." And she taught me everything that she could possibly teach me in like the 2 years that I was there.
Yeah.
And then when I left there, I went into like another digital content role. Then I went to grad school. Then I went to a social media management role, and I like dabbled between paid and organic and strict content and writing. I wrote for Muscle and Fitness for a while. So like, it's interesting to get these certifications because 90% of the stuff I taught myself.
Yeah.
But similar to like lifting and stuff, like you can know how to squat, but once you actually like become a trainer or whatever, you can critique where people's feet placement is or how the length of their femur like affects their like bar placement, things like that. So it's kind of similar to that. Like a lot of these certifications, I know almost everything, but there are like certain little things that I can improve on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my brother thinks I tweet for a living. And my mom's like, "I don't know what to tell people what you do." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it."
So
I wear every hat.
you kind of want to, I mean, do you feel comfortable with like talking about the company you work for and stuff too?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so I work for Spartan Race. So I handle a lot of their social. I'm a social media manager for them. It's a team of, it was a team of 4, now it's a team of 2. I started there in March, and then a week later the pandemic hit, so they canceled all of 2020 races. I got to work in 1 race in Jacksonville in June, but my primary focus for them was supposed to be traveling domestically and internationally to cover all those races.
Yeah.
Ain't done that.
Yeah.
So now it's a lot of community management, but we took a 24/7 pivot to content in the beginning of the pandemic. So whereas we were an event-based company, we became a content-based company and put all of our effort behind blogs, behind, you know, influencer work, workouts from home, things like that. So we were doing,
Oh, sure.
I want to say maybe 14 live workouts a week, so like 2 a day. And then for our sub-brand DecaFit, I was handling all the influencers, whether it was, you know, live 20, 30-minute workouts or like cooking segments or like different WODs of the day and things like that.
Yeah.
So I basically handle everything, and then when shit hits the fan and races are canceled or whatnot, I am the voice of Spartan across all of social, so I am talking to consumers left and right and trying to rebuild that brand integrity and help them with whatever they need while driving engagement and kind of keeping like the race spirit alive.
Yeah.
In a sense.
So the most interesting thing I wanted to kind of go into too, because you're big on social media, you kind of know, you're always on it. What are some of your like what are some of the problems you see today with social media too? Yeah, I thought this would be very like controversial, interesting topic too.
Somebody grab me a beer.
Yeah. I know you see a lot. I've heard you critique stuff
Wait.
too.
Hunter, before we do that, double tap, just so we don't get any
Yeah.
interruptions.
Also double tap like this on YouTube.
Yeah, and I guess you can double tap it on Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tap on YouTube.
Well, you
You can like it.
Yeah.
That's a double
But
tap.
if you
to
double
like.
tap the like button, it unlikes it.
So triple tap
Triple
it.
tap it.
Yeah. Just double tap this post to Instagram when we post
Yeah,
it.
do that too.
Shameless.
Boom.
Good. All right. So yeah. So I've been to. What you see? I know you see
Alright,
a lot.
before I get to the problems, one thing that I've noticed on social from a customer service aspect, people love to complain and
Yeah.
they want to feel heard. So when you create content or when you're engaging with people, people love to feel heard. So they'll come at you with like the worst fucking attitude. And then you're like, hey, Garrett, like, I understand you're upset. Like, here's what I can do to help you. Like, PM us or email us if you need help. They're like, thank you so much for answering. I'm sorry I acted that way. I just wanted someone to hear me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm a fucking person too. Like, I hear you.
Yeah.
Like, stop complaining to me. Anyway, worst things. You want fitness or just life?
Let's start like fitness, and then we'll kind of diverge
Okay.
into life too.
Sponsor vultures.
Okay, explain those. People don't know.
Okay. People that do not have an affinity to a specific brand, but just want sponsorship, so they tag different brands in every single fucking post.
Oh shit.
Sponsor vultures.
Adam, Firehouse.
Hey, no fire. No, he does have a
eats
very.
that all the time.
And he is a firefighter.
And he's a firefighter. He can do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
It's
Yeah.
a joke, goddammit.
He has the mustache.
No, it's
Adam, we
like
got you, bro. Don't worry about it.
We got you. Hey, what you know about Firehouse?
What you know? What you know about Tin Lights? We gotta explain that story later.
Insider.
No, when he comes on, we'll talk about it.
so. A
Oh.
sponsor vulture is someone that has no brand loyalty. So let me get further into it. You're wearing A7, you're wearing Iron Rebel, you're wearing Notorious Lift, and you're wearing
SBD.
Nike as well, and SBD.
Yeah.
You have no loyalty to specific types of gear. So you are just tagging them in every fucking post to try and get noticed and try and get free gear.
Yeah.
Those of us that do content marketing and influencer marketing, we can recognize those people almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because if you are sharing, let's say you're sharing Iron Rebel sleeves and then SBD sleeves the next day, you have no loyalty to whatever sleeve brand.
Yeah.
So why would we send you free shit? Also, if you have like under 5,000 followers, you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Well,
that's kind of it.
You're almost there. You're going up there.
Almost
getting
my
there.
ass.
But like, no, that's the thing. Like, you're not gonna get shit
Yeah.
because A, you don't have the following, and you have no loyalty. So what are they gonna do? Send you free shit, and then you're still gonna be wearing and promoting SPGs in the next video,
Yeah.
or vice versa. Like, look at Jake for example. Doesn't have a huge following, but he walks the walk.
Yeah.
So when SBD sponsors him, they send him shit, and he wears
That's
it.
all he
He's
wears.
loyal. Exactly,
Yeah.
he's loyal. But then you look at, I'm trying to think of like think of like the Gymshark girls, but they aren't like officially Gymshark girls.
Yeah.
They're wearing one Gymshark pair, a Lululemon top, like a random ass sports bra, and they're tagging all of them in like their booty pics and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you want to post booty pics, be proud of yourself. I don't
Not-
care. I'll like it.
Not a problem.
Nope, not a problem.
No.
I'll like it. I'll be like, you do that, you can contort yourself. I'm all for it. I don't have that rotation.
It's all cool being thicker than a Snicker.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no problem with being thick. So you're posting those photos, but what does that give a brand? Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nothing. So you're giving them no reason to send you anything.
So you think it's important to have a very like loyalty before you even like
Mhm.
talk about sponsorship too?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so we're just trying to say.
But some
so-
people like wear different equipment that they just actually like. You know, like I like.
Which is
Yeah.
fine,
But when you start tagging them, I'm trying to get like.
Yep.
Okay.
and also like when it comes to content, you want your content to be valuable. So if you want a brand to work with you as an influencer or as a sponsored athlete or whatever, you need to give them something in return. Again, if you're only posting shirtless photos or booty pics or whatever, you're not giving that brand anything at all.
Yeah.
You show no value. So you have to think of yourself as a brand and them as a brand. Why would you partner with each other? If we go into quarantine, you're sharing all these home workouts and they're gaining traction, you're helping people, or you're doing like what my coach does where he shares like all these informational videos and things.
You could have
You're
a lot
providing
too. He does such.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how he has that
You want
many
to shout out your
hours
coach
a
real
day.
quick?
Trevor Jaffe.
Yeah.
My dude.
His videos are
I'm a
awesome.
big fan of him and Chris Bridgeford. Chris Bridgeford is one of my
They're
favorites.
like best friends.
Yeah.
We're close.
They're close.
Chris Bridgeford is one of my favorites because he's so
Quiet,
like he's so
humble.
like you don't hear a lot of people talking about him. Like you see him live strong as shit, super chill. And he's just like, hey, you look at the comments, just him and Trevor just going back at it. Like,
Yeah.
That hey the thickums and just fucking back and forth. It's like I feel like
Trevor-
that'll be me and Garrett in a couple of years. I
Yeah.
feel like
Trevor is super smart. It's actually kind of insane to me that he has this much knowledge in his brain, and he's a good lifter, and he just builds like a really good rapport with his athletes. And that's another thing. If you're a coach on Instagram, these are all things to take into consideration. You want to build the rapport. You want to provide a service. You want to explain things. You want to shout your athletes out when they're training or when they're doing well. You want to also walk the walk. You want to share your own lifts. But the main thing is providing a service and a value.
Yeah.
Like, my personal Instagram, I don't care about.
Yeah.
At all.
I've seen your bio.
As you said,
Yeah.
my social sucks because I do social for a living. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. I spend 23 hours a day on social media, basically. Not through any fault of my own. Like, my Instagram is a training log for me
Yeah.
and for my coach. If people follow along and they're like, hey, this is cool, follow along. I don't care. But I don't expect to be handed different sponsorships.
Yeah.
I would love to have if any meal prep places want to sponsor me, I'll share you
Yeah.
every day of the week. I hate to cook. I hate to do dishes. Send them. I'm cool. But like with Universal, like I do my contracted duties. I love their products. I've been using their products since I started
Yeah.
lifting.
Their creatine is baller.
Mm-hmm.
The protein's good, so you start like farting after.
Yeah.
The egg protein.
The egg
It
bro.
mixes super easy and it
It's
goes down
so
well, but then
good.
like it's the worst fart you ever had in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Oh, yeah.
god.
Listen, like all protein has
But that one.
some issues.
That
but
one is.
It's always egg. It's
That's what I thought,
always
yeah.
egg. But
Jesus Christ.
that's the thing. Like
Kill
with
elephants
Universal,
with
like I've had an affinity for Universal and animals since 2010 around there. So I've been consistently using those products, and I became friends with people that worked there prior to me being like taken on and sponsored. So you just have to remember you have to provide something valuable to a brand, and if you're not going to get sponsored unless you have like a crazy sex appeal and like dudes follow you for that reason, which own it if you've got it, flaunt it. But unless you have that behind you, you're not going to get anything. Is that going to be you? Is that going to be you?
I kind of had a topic
I'm
too.
thick. I got a big old booty.
I know you have your other problems too, but we're not.
Okay.
I assume this is a problem for you too. I guess we'll go into fake followers, fake likes, fake engagement.
Okay,
Kinda
yeah.
touch on that.
So,
It's hard. I think it's hard to tell like who has it, who doesn't. Like I don't.
no, it's not.
All right. Well, explain that
Okay,
too.
so here's what you're going to look at. So, if you are, do you guys have business accounts on Facebook?
Yeah.
On Instagram, rather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my
So when you look in your insights, the main metrics that you should be focusing on are DMs and shares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that means that people are resonating with it and sharing it to someone else, or they're saving a workout for future or a tip for future, whatever.
But my
So-
IGTV ones get a lot of those.
Yeah.
And like,
What
well,
do you check
either
on those,
IGTV or like my big deadlifts.
Like insights like this.
Yeah. So you're gonna go, let's go to like content you've shared or whatever. And then you can filter it through up here. So you can do it by
Oh shit, that's
saves,
sick.
and then you can see what like your top saved things are. And that's
kind
of
of weird. I never knew that.
Yeah.
People save my stuff.
A lot of mine are any like thought style photos, and it actually really concerns me.
Well, why
I
are
got
these?
like 150 saves, 150 saves on like one photo, and I'm like, what are y'all doing?
That's kind of weird because who like wants to save my photos?
I mean, for me,
People are weird.
People are weird.
I've checked. For me, it was. I think my number one was the last meet I did, and then my
Yeah, that was
sumo
good.
deadlift checklist was like number 2.
They're saving
Then
my.
IGTV
They're saving
ones.
my random lifting videos. They're saving.
Yep.
it. That's weird.
Yeah.
That makes you look really good, and you're doing a great job.
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
main thing is like use those metrics to kind of influence your content otherwise. So if your IGTVs and things that are informational are performing well, capitalize on that. People want to see more of that and share those. You can also use stories as a way to gauge what your followers want, whether it's questions, whether it's a poll, whatever it is. You can kind of again capitalize off that, like use your audience and make your content service based. That's what's going to perform the best. But when it comes to fake followers and fake likes, you can tell if someone has purchased followers through their engagement percentage. So you look at if someone has 1 million followers, right? And then they're only getting 10,000 likes a post,
Something's up.
most of those are fake.
Yeah.
If someone has 30,000 followers out of nowhere, they're fake, most of them. So that's kind of that. And that's why a lot of places when they do influencer marketing, they don't look into the actual metrics of it. Like at one of my jobs, we had one of the guys from The Bachelor be our influencer. He has a couple million followers. He had no affinity to our brand. No fucking reason for him to be there other than to drive women out and participate in an event.
Yeah.
No reason to be there. No affinity to our brand. And his engagement percentage was so minimal. But we paid him a shit ton of money because he was an influencer and he had this many followers.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. So that's why the rise of micro-influencers is becoming a kind of bigger
I've heard
thing.
a lot about that too. I've heard a lot of people like talking about. I think it's like the engagement thing you're talking about. I've seen a lot of people talk about like the amount of likes you have, the amount of like comments, like
Mhm.
people who actually comment yourself, like
Yep.
you got a conversation. It's a lot more important because those people like if you have 1 million followers and you're only getting like this said likes, but you have a lot more engagement, like comments, people
Mhm.
talking, they're more likely to actually buy whatever you like.
So
advertise and
yeah,
shit.
and people want to trust you.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. If you're a sponsor vulture and you're flip-flopping, you're again providing no value because you don't have any integrity with your audience.
Yeah.
So like if you want to like screw with the algorithm a little bit, you want to make sure that you're replying to comments, not just liking them. You want to reply to comments because then it'll pop up in people's explore page more often, and it'll be like, oh, this is based on posts you've liked or posts you've commented on or videos you've engaged with. And then if you get big enough as coaches where you want to start advertising, you can start advertising to those that have engaged with your posts
Yeah.
and lookalike audiences to them. So while I may engage with your post, but I don't engage with Brandon's, not literally,
Yeah.
but while I engage with yours but not with his, let's say he wants to run an ad with people who have engaged with his posts, which would be you,
Yeah.
and similar, which would be me. I'd be a lookalike audience. So the ads would hit both of us, and you'd be basically like
That's
your return on investment would be lower because you'd be kind of keeping the costs down
Yeah.
and making a profit and making some conversions.
That's
in
one
that
of those.
sense.
I'm talking like actually like pay to promote kind of things. So you post
Yep.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah, so there are ways to do things like that. But I forgot where I was going for.
You're going somewhere. But we're yeah.
There's so much cool stuff that you don't know about social media.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Like-
Sorry, I cut you off.
Like,
It's about Preston.
I mean, oh yeah, Preston's cool too. Like Preston taught me a
He
lot.
does kind of same thing you do
Like-
too. Like he does PGA, like social media stuff. I don't know if you met him or not.
I think follow me on Instagram. I
Yeah.
didn't follow him back.
Yeah, like Preston's a cool guy.
On brand.
But like the thing about like the
Dude.
social media and stuff, I mean, especially like business pages and everything.
see
I mean,
a
when
tree?
I first made my page, I was literally just
Squirrel.
I made it just to lift, so I
Yeah.
started posting like random lists and stuff.
Yeah.
Until I got to I think the first time I actually got over 100 likes was my first deadlift to 700,
Mhm.
and then it's like I started like getting DMs and stuff. But like one question I have is, what about the fake, like the love it DM me, love it.
It's all
that,
bots.
That shit
Let's
pisses me off.
collab.
How do you make a bot like that?
Bro, they comment so damn quick.
Yeah.
I put the picture, it's like 0.2 seconds.
They probably-
Love it, hell yeah, fuck yeah, shit, yeah, love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
They probably like search for like
hashtags.
You can turn on
Hashtags,
notifications for hashtags
Yeah.
and get notified when like people like you can follow a hashtag and like get notified, but when it comes to bots, there are agencies that actually specialize in those.
That pissed me off.
So they'll create bots based on certain things. You can do them on Facebook too. Like, you know when you open up a business page on Facebook and immediately the messenger pops up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a bot.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So little things like that.
I was wondering how they made it.
Foodie commented on one of the bots. He goes, "Leave my friend alone."
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you'll get
Leave my
those-
friend alone.
You'll get a ton of those once, like, you start using, like, hashtags that are gonna, like, work.
Yeah.
And that also comes down to figuring out what hashtags you wanna use. You don't want to use something, like, so specific, but you don't want to use something so broad. So,
Yeah.
like, I've been getting a lot of traction. I was texting Ryan about this morning. I was like, you know, my posts are performing really well, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, Instagram, because of the election, has limited recent posts and hashtags. So I don't know if you've gone to scroll through a hashtag, it'll show you maybe 20 posts, and then it'll say all recent posts are blocked due to, like, the spread of misinformation or whatever. So
It's kind of weird they can do that. They can limit what people see.
yeah, because they don't want to. They don't
Yeah.
want to. It's easier than fact checking everything.
Yeah.
So rather than promoting it's a pain in the ass, especially for what I do. But a lot of my posts have been performing better, and it's because I started using the hashtag spondylolisthesis, which is the back injury I have. So I started using that, and now I'm getting random DMs from people that are like, I was just diagnosed, or like, I've had this, are you getting spinal fusion, are you doing this? Yeah, so now like I'm having conversations about it and kind of learning more. I actually just found this girl, she's a 52 kilo lifter, she totaled like over 8 in the USAPL
Yeah.
with this same like issue. She has like grade 3 though, so hers is like fairly severe.
Yeah.
But she pulled like over 3, she squatted over 3, like she's
Yeah.
doing like pretty good at 113 pounds. So I'm like, that's cool that I found someone with, I know,
Yeah.
I found someone with the same injury that I have. Obviously, severity is
Worse, yeah.
differing, but she does the same thing I do in a tested federation. And I'm like, right, it's cool that like I can kind of now see that there was like a light at the end of the tunnel. Because for like a week when I first got hurt, I was like, I'm never gonna lift again.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna be able to. And then I found her and I was like, all right, dope. Like,
Yeah.
cool. Like nice. I gave myself like a 2 or 3 day pity party and I was like, all right, I'm back. Like here I am.
We back, boys.
Yeah, basically.
Pull up to the pit, yo.
I pulled up and I was like walking on the treadmill and I think Blake came over and he's like, what is this? And I was like, injured boys.
Blake on the bike, big ass. Hey.
I like that he like framed that video to be like candid and he's like, sup?
Bro,
Like, dude.
bro.
Yeah, so you like.
Blake's so fucking big that
It's so
everything he does
fucking
that's
funny.
not lifting just looks so awkward. Like you see him like riding a bike, he's just like big ass square, just like
It's like off guard, but not off guard. It's like.
hey.
I fully blame him and his wife for influencing me to spend $22 in
I
Chipotle
saw that.
yesterday.
Bro, his burritos
He loves
big.
Chipotle.
Like he,
I like-
he just crushed Chipotle.
He does.
I'm like going to like pull and I just smell like burrito and I was like,
I feel like we always bring up Blake in this podcast
Bro.
every episode.
No, Blake will be
Yeah.
on soon, so yes.
Yeah, he'll be eventually after.
Yeah, we'll
He's
hear
We're
his
gonna,
little
need a
accent.
bigger, we're gonna need a bigger table.
he's such a strange dude. Like I love it. He's so odd.
You hear his accent, he walk up like, what's up, Brian Brown, what's
Oh
up,
my
Garrett? Let's get work. Bro, but like, the funniest shit ever was on his story, but he was like, like, what do you do for like intra workout snacks? He goes, I just eat full ass meals, honestly. Because I just go up there, I pull out a full ass meal and start eating right between my workout.
I'm like, dude, I've seen him do it. and
I
it's like,
walked in, he's using the reverse hyper as a table. I'm like, go home. Like, what are you doing here?
He lives like an hour away.
Yeah.
So.
He gets so bored, like he pulls up all the time. I was like, he goes, what are you doing here? Is he lifting? He goes, nah, my wife's at work and now he feel like being with the dogs. You know, I'm just here to hang out. Brought his whole book bag full of lunch. Just watch us lift.
Oh, dude,
Such a strange
he
dude.
kills me.
He's a great guy.
He's such a strange dude.
Alright, so I guess what are the things you hate about? I guess we can go to the life part too. So like social media, like the cons of it for like life.
Oh, dude, I have like the worst body dysmorphia when it comes to like my weight class and like A, how I look, B, like how I lift. So like social for me, I kind of stopped following and like engaging with like certain people because like I like to eat like shit sometimes. I like to drink every now and again. But you know, as a 148er, like yeah, I'm small, but I don't look nearly where I want to. So like for me to see like 148ers squatting 370 in sleeves and having a full 6-pack and being like strong and like healthy, I'm like,
But
why? But my friend Nicole, she deletes social every week before me. deletes it completely except for what she's required to do contractually for her sponsors.
She's a badass though.
She is a real
She's a
badass.
badass. I mean, I never really talked to her. I've seen her before.
She's tough.
I've seen her before. I've seen her
She's
a couple
really
times.
nice.
She seems like really cool.
She's
and
tough.
like she's a badass.
She beat cancer. Like
Yeah.
she's tough.
Yeah.
And she's strong as hell. And she's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's not bald anymore though, so that upsets me. But she's a bald-headed bitch. That's my girl.
Well, my favorite part about these podcasts is Hunter's. Like, you guys can't see
Yeah.
Hunter in the corner, but whenever we say some shit, like Hunter just starts dying
Y'all are
laughing.
gonna have to get like a picture-in-picture and just have a camera like right on him.
No, we're
Yeah.
gonna
Just put it in like the top
Give
left.
it a little
We got
square.
we get you like a cutout and just put it in the back of us.
We've already discussed it. Like after like a couple of podcasts, they'll have me on, and I'll bring up like my favorite moments and shit.
The man behind the camera, like a little recap episode.
It's gonna be like the
I think-
Wizard. I hope it's not like
No,
the Wizard of Oz.
we're gonna do after the meet because we're having you, Adam, and probably I guess Foodie all come on.
No, we're gonna have like a whole like circle table, like whoever competes.
All the girls competing too, so we could just bring everybody. Just like
Honestly, we might as well just sit in the living room and we set up the TV and
Who's competing besides Amber?
Amber, I think Alicia's. I think. And then I think
Alicia's competing,
Stephanie?
Amber, Steph,
I think Aaron might. I don't know.
Aaron was talking about it, but she.
Foodie, Garrett, Adam, you. That's 7 right there. I'm coaching. Call me Coach Bam.
I mean, I think the whole pit will be there,
Jake's
bro.
coaching. Adolfo's
I
gonna
won't.
be there.
I'll be at hybrid. Sorry.
Yeah.
When's yours? February 28th.
No, I'm not competing. Fuck that. I'll be at hybrid though, and I'll be at Battle of the Bay. I'm not competing till May.
Hybrid's 15 minutes away from my house, like where I live.
I did it last year. I don't think I'd ever competed ever again.
Why?
Mainly because I absolutely shit the bed. But
I love Steph.
I got strep the week.
I love.
No, I'm not gonna talk about that. I got
Oh, shit.
yeah, I got strep the week before that meet, and lost all my shine.
Oh.
So what happened to Steffi?
Shut up.
No.
Don't talk about me, baby. But like I know some of the hybrid
I used to
lifters-
love her. I hate her. I hate her.
Are we gonna dive into
So,
it?
no.
No.
Okay.
We're both
You're
sponsored
such
by
a
the same
you're such a
companies.
fucking instigator, dude.
Alright, off.
He's such a fucking
I just want to
instigator.
know. I just want to know.
No,
He's nosy.
Off the camera.
He is super nosy.
off the camera.
But
off the camera.
we're gonna cut this part out.
What
Probably
the
not.
fuck did you
But
say?
anyway,
The hybrid crews, like some of them are cool, but I mean, there's just a lot of drama.
I felt with Cayman. But he's a
Well, I mean, a lot of people have like most gyms. Like you don't see they have drama too. Like the pit had drama.
We're not getting into that.
That's what. No, another topic. But I'm saying like most gyms, places have drama you don't see on the outside.
The pit do be having drama.
It,
I'll be big chilling.
that squirrel? Oh, it's a person. Never mind.
I'll be big chilling.
There was a squirrel jumping from tree to tree before. It was
I-
dope.
I'll take my
It
ass
was like
class.
ADHD.
I'll take my ass class, take my
Yeah,
ass to the
well.
pit, take my ass home to eat.
Yeah.
That's what I kept doing.
That shit really comes to do.
It
It's
don't
gonna,
work.
it's gonna sting Hunter first.
I hope it gets you. Alright,
Anyway.
ADHD tune back. No, I mean, the hybrid meet was like alright last year. I don't really know how they're gonna do it because of COVID. Because Miami is like still like a hot spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're actually gonna open it to spectators or if they're just gonna have lifters. Like last year it was super crowded. Like
Look.
it was like really freaking crowded. Like the amateur day was super crowded. The pro day was even worse.
Was that the day? Was that when Jamal
Yeah.
rolled over?
Yeah.
Yep, that was
right?
Jamal's world record.
That was a cool video. That was a super hype video.
He's so nice too. He's like one of the most humble lifters
His-
I know.
He's got fun.
I think
He wants to come train at the pit one day.
one of the most humble lifters I know is Jesus.
Yeah.
From Texas. I don't know if his name's Megatron.
Oh yeah.
He's competing today. Dude, hey, if you know about handshake emoji,
Mhm.
but super nice guy. Like he's competing today. He'll be on the podcast next week. Shout out to boy Jesus. He's trying. So
What's the total gonna get? What he's aiming for?
I mean, he's aiming for 2,300.
Oh fuck.
He'll
That's
be-
a big total.
That's a
That's a,
big.
that's a lot of pounds.
I mean,
It's at
Good
least
job.
2
in
pounds.
his prep, he squatted 909, deadlifted 860, and then benched like mid high fives.
Oh, so he's like right there.
No, he could do it. Like he's done it in training.
Yeah.
like he's done it in training. So like he just has to execute today, which he will. He's a badass. He's a
Yeah,
fucking boy.
I talked to him earlier. He says he's gonna get like a meet recap after.
Yeah,
Kind of off right now.
yeah, but he's cool. But
There are a
Wait.
lot of cool people in powerlifting.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to say. I mean, all of my friends except for like 2 come from lifting. So that's
like,
pretty dope.
even like when I watch like Jamal YouTube videos, it's funny. He doesn't give a shit about any editing or anything. He's like, "Yo, what's up, guys? About to go to the gym. About to get lifted." There's like a cut. He's doing a foam roller. There's a cut. There's 900-pound deadlifts. It's like, what the fuck?
You missed some
He's
stuff.
like, then he gets back in the car. Yo, so I just did 900 instead of 3. About to go back home, go eat. Cut. Back in the gym. Yeah, I'm about to squat. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
I mean, it's honest, bro.
He's like,
He shows
it's
you
such
what
an
you want to
honest-
know. I mean,
it's such an honest video like you look at his videos, you look at Russ Wool videos, like Russ Wool's strong as shit, but it's like boom, flip that shit up, do Han, edit, fucking music playing, Jamal, yo.
But then like Russ Wool, that's kind of like his the
I
part of
hate
living.
Russ
Yeah.
Wool's
Yeah,
videos.
But he,
I
but,
hate his videos so much.
I love him.
Why?
They don't appeal to me. They probably appeal to y'all, but they don't appeal to me.
I feel like you're
Like Jamal Brothers. Yeah, I love his shit.
I like when people are more like raw. Like I don't like the over editing. I don't like anything like that. Like show me what you want me to see, because again, social, that's all you get to see.
I like to mix
But
it
like
up.
Yeah.
show me what I want to see, show me what pertains to me, and show me how you got there. Like that's all I want. I don't care about transitions. I don't care about
Staging.
music. I don't care about staging. I don't care. Just make sure your videos are framed properly.
Exactly.
That's like the
Exactly.
film nerd in me.
If
Like
your fucking frames right here in your forehead, I'm instantly.
it's the rule of thirds. Like
Yeah.
come on.
I took a film class in college, so it's kind of just fucking like.
I like to mix it up though. Like if I'm on the couch and I feel like watching it Russ, it's kind of watching like a movie. So it's kind of like I'm just interested by the editing portion of it. Like it's not even much like I love the lifting and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just so cool seeing like you see like the drone and then like the edit. It looks so cool. Like it looks feels like I'm like watching like a Marvel movie.
I like Max's.
Guzman?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like his. It's a little, but it's more like he just talks a lot in between too. Like he does this like sick edits.
You know he has a swim up bar in
Yeah.
his pool to his
Dude,
house.
we drink these we eat all his candy and shit
But
too.
no,
yeah.
but like
The margarita bar thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sick.
Don't
He's a badass. He's,
He's
cool.
awesome.
don't his
I mean,
dog
I-
is-
His dog is dude.
Yeah.
Hey dude.
If you have a dog, I automatically love you.
All right.
I have a dog at home.
I want a Frenchie.
Nicole has a Frenchie.
The only thing about
Layla.
Frenchies is that they have so many problems though because they're bred to be cute.
She's shaped like a lima bean.
But like that's
A lima bean and a gargoyle, like put into one.
how did you come up with those two?
Okay, so her body is shaped like a lima bean.
Just little
With,
ears.
like,
there.
little-
But
something-
like the gargoyle part.
Her face is like,
Yeah.
and she's just constantly like snorting nonstop.
You see
But
that?
I have a puggle at home, so like I know what that's like. I have a
Mhm.
morbidly obese puggle. He's supposed to be 25 pounds. He's like 45 and change. He's like 11. He's old. I love him. He is thick. Every time I used to take him to the vet, they'd always like body shame him. And be like, I want to see the thick puggle, and I'm like, excuse me.
He's got a
Big
thyroid
bone.
problem.
He's very sensitive.
He is adorable, more to love, less
He's in
than
the
lit.
corner. You see, you're making him cry.
And then I have Stella at home, my cat, and she's only 5.5 pounds. So they body shame her, and they're like, you gotta fatten her up. I'm like, she is lean. She's 2 weeks out from a show. Let her live.
There's two different weight classes. One's a powerlifter, one's a bodybuilder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, I think
I'm a
Bruno's more
I'm a
strong
bodybuilder,
man.
bro.
That's another thing. Like,
Shit.
I don't think I could do a show ever again.
I don't think
Just
I've
the
ever done
dieting.
Tired.
Like,
so okay, I want to know about that.
Uh-oh.
That
Yeah.
is one thing because 'cause I know with like bodybuilders and stuff like the amount of dieting and how strict your diet has to be. Like, I'm just fascinated about like how do you go about that? Like what do you do?
okay, so you have to find a coach that prioritizes your diet over your conditioning. So my friend Ken, who does my nutrition now, he wants you to eat the most calories you can while still getting leaner. So he won't add cardio in unless it's absolutely necessary, and usually it's like 20 minutes of like steady state. Versus when I did my show with that other coach, I was eating like 1,200 calories a day, like 8 weeks out, which is not healthy. Low carb and doing like 2.5 hours on Stairmaster
What
a
the
day.
fuck?
Yeah,
That sounds miserable.
it was
I want to throw up hearing
horrible.
that.
And then you paid him 7,000.
I'm
Yeah.
around. Yeah, it
Jesus
was.
Christ.
You know when it's like you live and you learn.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big learn.
Yeah, it's a huge learn. It's a very expensive learn. But no, you have to like really be dialed in. Like right now, I focus on my nutrition based on like how I feel. Like I eat, I don't eat. Like I do what I want. But when it comes to a show, you have to be so dialed in because even like the smallest thing can screw with your like metabolism
Mm.
and like your weight fluctuation. Like if you're a chick and you get your period like meat week, you have to change your whole diet in order to like minimize bloating and weight gain and things like that. You have to really focus on the types of carbs you're putting in and know like what your body is like sensitive to, like glycogen wise and things like
Yeah.
that.
I have a really cool topic about Preston. Something about you don't know Preston, but his wife. I think I want to say she's
She's an IFBB pro now.
yeah, but
Kiki,
he
right?
yeah, but he was telling me about like some of her stuff. Like I think when they're like, I'm gonna probably butcher what he said, but when she got really close to the show too, all like her main carb was just cereal.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's like something like with
It
Sunday
depends
too.
on what works
Yeah.
and what doesn't.
Let's shoot like a bunch of fucking cereal.
Yeah, my meals used like my like main carbs were either sweet potatoes or Honey Nut Cheerios or cream of wheat. That was it.
Yeah.
That was really it.
No rice or anything.
Asparagus and grilled chicken or tilapia. There were days where I ate shrimp for lunch, or I mean for breakfast,
Yeah.
and that was
That's what,
disgusting.
that's what he said. She eats cereal and then shrimp.
It's
Like,
gross.
why is it shrimp? What kind of way?
It just depends on like what is like the leanest protein you can get.
Yeah.
Really.
It's
A lot of
easy to
bodybuilders
digest.
don't really focus. I think our battery's dying.
It's close.
It'll be fine.
A lot of bodybuilders don't really focus on like micronutrients, whereas powerlifters tend to focus more on micronutrients versus macronutrients. You know, like greens and things like that. But I mean, I was just eating a shit ton of asparagus and a shit ton of chicken.
Yeah.
I went to weddings, I went to baby showers, I went to bachelorette parties, and I had to eat out of Tupperwares.
Damn, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. All to place last.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, you live and learn.
Which
Big
is
learn.
even worse. But that's the leanest I've ever been, and I felt good about it. So, I mean, it happened. But would I ever do it again? No. I like food too much, and I like my mental health way too much.
Yeah.
So moral of the story: be a powerlifter.
So,
Well, I mean, like, if you want to do it because it's a bucket list, absolutely go and do it and try it.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, I had such a bad relationship with food after. Like, it was to the point where I would, like, not eat. I don't want to say I became, like, anorexic, but, like, I had a real issue with, like, putting certain things into my, my body.
Yeah.
So, it was just, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it was constantly like, checking myself out in the mirror and like seeing if I looked bloated or like measuring my waist nonstop.
There's
And
more to that stuff.
I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't constructive. Whereas, like, you know, when you're like trying to bulk, like if you measure your quads, you measure your biceps, you're like, oh, I went up like a quarter of an inch. Like, that's great. It was more or less like my waist went from a 26 to a 29. Why did it do that? Like, what can I cut out? What can I do? And it was just a constant like back and forth of trying to figure out like what worked for me and what didn't, and now I just eat. I hope.
Happy and $22 bowls at Chipotle.
That was like the only meal I ate yesterday, so
I guess that
like
makes
that's
sense,
fine. But
I think that cereal was gonna be the only thing I eat today.
That's a lie.
all I ate today so far was a bagel.
I had a protein shake and then like 3 bags of popcorn.
I had 4,100 calories with
Shit
the
was delicious.
cereal.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of
Y'all are
cereal.
supposed to be
That's a lot of
athletes. I had a full breakfast. I had a full lunch.
Well, it's my day off, so
Listen,
I'll have
Yeah,
to
it's
go
ours.
run.
I'm in off season, bud. I'm bulking.
I'm bulking too.
Alright, we're all
I
bulking.
got like 10 more pounds to gain by February.
If I
Where you chilling,
see,
bro?
like that's the funniest thing with
You got time.
guys. Like if I think about gaining weight,
You
I
got
gain weight.
It's so easy for guys to drop weight too. Like
I can't.
I think in 2 months I've dropped, 2 or 3 months I've dropped, I want to say about 25 pounds.
See, like the funny thing is, like I don't consume
Yeah.
dairy. I try not to consume sugar. I really only drink water and coffee,
Yeah.
and I don't lose weight.
Yeah.
My calories can be up, my calories can be down. Like nothing
It's
changes.
weird.
But it's a pain in
Yeah.
the ass.
So I cut out the fast food, and that
You
was the
also
biggest
have-
thing. I started just dropping.
The woman also has a lot more going on than we do.
Oh, dude, every
Yeah.
month I fluctuate between 5 and 7 pounds.
Mhm.
It's like actually a nightmare. Like, and before every meet, I get my period. So like, I am very close to being overweight every single meet. Every single meet.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Last meet though, I didn't have to cut. I was like 145, 146, like continuously. Now I'm like at like 148, 149. Although after that bowl, I didn't want to weigh myself this morning at all. That was like gross.
Yeah.
It was super gross. I don't think I was breathing as I was eating.
It's swollen.
Shoveling it in
They have
my
that good.
face.
They have that good corn. It's like the white corn. I don't know. I like it a lot.
Some
Albino
black
corn?
corn.
Come on.
They make that.
Come on, dude.
You're
I want.
you thought you knew a guy. This guy. They had that white corn. Psst.
It's like really kind of sweet.
Back in my day, we just said corn. We
They
didn't.
don't have yellow.
They do have yellow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess
It's all a joke. It's all fun and games. I like messing with Garrett. Garrett has a half black brother.
mixed. I don't say half black. I say mixed. Half black sounds kind of weird.
Half black is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a weird thing
way
to say. Just say mixed, bro. Why you gotta say half black?
You should just leave the podcast.
Yeah, just
now.
go home.
I
dude.
mean, wouldn't it be no? But like on the real, wouldn't it be weird if you said like a half white brother?
Yeah, just say mixed.
I don't know.
I just say brother. I don't know why everybody's.
I just call him half and half. It's like sweet tea.
You done?
And Arnold Palmer.
Yep.
You done?
Yes.
I am done now.
All right, cool.
I don't know if we're
So I
done.
guess the topic you're talking about, because you're talking about how the diet kind of messes with your mental health too. That's kind of something we want to touch on. I know we kind of mentioned it going forward.
Yeah.
But, are you kind of comfortable talking about
Yeah.
open book?
Yeah.
Just pause.
Ask me whatever you want to know.
Pause.
Pause.
Yeah.
All right, quick pause.
Let me go pee.
Yeah, I got the two. I got the biggest piss.
You have two apples.
Boom.
Wow.
Wow, wow.
All right, and we're back. All right, so mental health. That's what we're diving into too.
Yeah.
I forgot where we left off.
Ask
But,
whatever questions you want.
well, I guess
I'm an
first.
open book.
All right, first, can you like kind of tell us like what kind of mental health issues you have and
Yeah.
when they kind of started and stuff?
So I have had mental illness for longer than I have not had it. So I've had anxiety since I'm 10, high functioning. I've had high functioning depression since I am diagnosed when I was 14, but probably since I'm like 12 or 13. And then just to like add some spice, we sprinkled some PTSD in there. From what we don't know, but
Can you kind of explain like what those are? Like, because I know
Yeah.
the high functioning thing too. Then
yeah. So anxiety is a panic disorder. So I get panic attacks a lot. I overthink everything, but the high functioning side is you wouldn't know unless I told you. The depression side, however, is also very interesting. So my therapist, when I was about 15, told me that high functioning depression is scarier than regular depression because you don't see it coming. So she had mentioned that, you know, I could be laughing and joking and then throw myself off a building the next day, and like no one would see it coming. So that's the fun part for me. And the PTSD is, again, I have like another like panic disorder where it only affects me if I am asleep. It's very, very weird. If I take a nap like in the middle of the day and I am woken up abruptly, or if I take a nap anywhere that's not my bed and I'm woken up abruptly, I go into fight or flight and I can't calm down for like 3 hours.
oh shit.
Yeah, and it happens a lot like when I take naps now too. Like if my phone goes off or whatever, like I just like freak out.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I really don't nap anymore.
Yeah. And you said you don't know like what the PTSD came from. It's kind
No,
of
no. My therapist and I right now are trying to work on it, but we can't like figure it out. Like the weird thing about depression is you repress memories.
Yeah.
So like from 18 and younger, I remember very few things. So I don't know if something had happened or what, but yeah, I don't nap well.
Yeah.
And if I'm ever sleeping, please don't ever scare me and wake me.
Yeah.
Like
So-
it sucks.
I think I'm gonna ask you obviously like I assume
Yeah.
like you're like a doctor kind of told you, or
Mhm.
is it like self-diagnosed or kind of just you went
Nope.
to doctor too?
I've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression since I'm about 13 and 14. But didn't realize I had anxiety from age 10 on until I was diagnosed at 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So my parents were divorced when I was like 9, and my dad was like notorious for not bringing us home on time. Like ever. And because I was the oldest, I was like the responsible one. Obviously, my brother is 5 years younger, so he was like 4. He couldn't tell time. So I knew we were supposed to be home at 7 on Sundays. My dad wouldn't bring us home until 10 or 11. And from 7 to like 11 or whenever I would get home, my stomach would hurt.
Yeah.
Like nonstop. And it was like panic, like stomach aches. And then I'd be worrying that my mom was going to get mad at me or whatever.
Kind of sounds like me.
It was like really bad, honestly.
Yeah.
And I still sometimes get those like stomach aches. But I notice, so it's weird, when you have had this for so long, you kind of notice your triggers and like what's gonna kind of push you into something. So my panic attacks are few and far between now, but I can feel them coming on about 2 weeks ahead of time. So like I'll get a pain in the center of my hands, like someone's stabbing me. I'll get like a very weird stomach ache, and then I'll get headaches nonstop for like 2 weeks, and then I'll jump into a panic attack and I'll be like, God damn it, I knew it was coming.
What is your panic? Because I think I don't want to say I've had one, but I've had some that I guess what I classify. So like, what are yours look like? Like what kind of?
Usually I don't cry a lot,
Yeah.
so it's usually me not being able to stop crying, or me having like a really upset stomach, not being able to shut my thoughts down, not being able to breathe,
Yeah.
and just sweating nonstop. And like I said, they're few and far between. The first one happened when I was in math class in college, and my professor called me an idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like,
why?
dope, I am. But
Yeah.
yeah, it caused me to like absolutely lose my mind. I called my mom, who had panic attacks here and there. My grandma had like severe anxiety and like severe depression.
Yeah.
So like my mom was kind of used to it, so she was able to talk me through it. But it was to the point where like I couldn't catch my breath, like I couldn't stop crying, like, and it's just like a flip of a switch.
Yeah.
So that's mainly it for me.
I think I've had one. I don't want to say I had one, but like I would say the only two experiences I would kind of do that. I had one when I was driving one day too, so I had to like pull over because I couldn't breathe, and I got like I was about to call my mom. I was like, dude, I can't drive, and I don't know where it happened. It just kind of like flipped. Scary, like the scariest thing ever. Then I had one in the movie theater. I had to get up and leave.
I've had that.
And I don't know if that was like something from like caffeine or whatever it was.
They can all exacerbate
Yeah.
it and cause something else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the craziest part when it comes to mental health. Like, you can be super stable, and then something can exacerbate underlying things. So,
Yeah.
if we want to talk about lifting and mental health, gear, for example, like steroids,
Yeah.
like that can, it doesn't necessarily cause all of these things, but it can exacerbate things that are underlying. So, if you are someone that is irritable,
Yeah.
on a normal day without gear, when you add gear, you're going to be more irritable.
Yeah.
And it just depends. If you are a dark, depressed person, on a normal day you add gear, and that can throw you
Right.
into a deeper hole.
Yeah.
Same thing with marijuana, same thing with alcohol. Like, I used to drink a lot. I can't drink a lot anymore. Because the day after I get alcohol-induced anxiety, which leads to panic attacks and, like, raised heart rates, that's the main reason I got an Apple Watch. Because I was getting, like, palpitations so bad after I would drink, whether it's a beer, a White Claw, like 7 beers, 7 White Claws, whether I was blacking out, like it was to the point where I couldn't function the next day and my heart rate would be like 130 resting,
Oh fuck.
which is like super
Yeah.
high. And I'd be sitting there, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? And one of my friends, who she's been institutionalized a couple times, she's done ketamine for depression, which has worked wonders for her. But she was explaining to me that her anxiety is exacerbated by drinking. And I was like, I never put 2 and 2 together before. And then all of a sudden, once I put 2 and 2 together, I was getting 4, and then I was adding another 2, and I was getting 6. Like, and all of a sudden, all these things just started like adding up. And I was like, oh shit, it works. My brain sometimes, not always,
Yeah.
but sometimes. But I mean, it's weird. Mental health is weird.
Yeah.
Mental illness is weird.
Yeah. So I think we talked about it earlier. Kind of like social media kind of has led a role in that too. I know there's a lot of people who nowadays kind of like I don't want to say claim it, but like how do you feel people like are self-diagnosed? Like kind of, is that possible? Can you feel like you're depressed? Can you, like what kind of things would you look for, like general things to say, oh like I have anxiety, oh I have depression? Like what are like some like the main like characteristics?
Isn't it like a time? Because I had one of my psychology classes. There was like a time limit to where it could be self-diagnosed versus being
Like
like,
chronic or
like
acute
oh
or-
like 6 to 8 weeks if you feel this sort of way, self-diagnosed. But then if it goes on for a certain like 2 or 3 months, then you go to a doctor. It's been going for this amount of time, then it's diagnosed officially.
Yeah, so it depends. I think it can be trauma-induced, where it's a shorter period of time. My therapist currently was telling me that it takes up to a year for someone to actually be considered depressed, like from the traumatic event on.
Yeah.
You can feel depressed, but you may not have depression. And I think that that's kind of where the line gets skewed in a sense. So there's a pandemic. You're not allowed to go out, you're not allowed to see your friends, you're not allowed to do things. That is depressing. That does not cause depression.
Yeah.
The seasons. You can get seasonal depression. It can affect your mood, it can make you fatigued, it can make you irritable, things like that. But that doesn't mean that you are clinically depressed.
Yeah.
And clinically depressed is being diagnosed as having depression. I have a lot of friends that are like, oh my god, like, I'm so OCD, or like, I'm really anxious about this. It's like, no, you're worried about this, you're nervous about that, and you like your things to be in a particular order. That does not mean you're OCD, that does not mean you have anxiety. Same with like, and I hate to dive into this subject because being someone that was suicidal, same with people that post constantly about wanting to kill themselves. That's where social media comes in. It becomes an attention chasing thing versus an actual I'm gonna kill myself thing. For me, when I was suicidal, my mom only found out because she found an instant message through me and a friend. Like, otherwise no one would have known. I had it planned out. I had the day, the way, the time, what I was going to wear, where I was going to do it. I had it all planned out. My brother happened to be homesick from school that day, so everyone was home. So that's kind of what saved me, but my mom would have never known unless, like, except when she read that. And a friend of mine actually went to a guidance counselor in school and was like, Marie's gonna kill herself, you should probably do something. And the guidance counselor was like, you're right. And that's kind of how I stuck around. The second time I wanted to kill myself, however, I almost Baker acted myself because I was not in a good place. I was in grad school, super stressed. I was dating this dude that kept, oh, change the battery pack.
Oh, damn.
Oh no!
Fuck me.
Ah.
That was a really good conversation where it's going.
I mean, you're still recording.
Oh, it is? Where are you going?
You continue talking.
Oh, are you sure? Okay, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Do some curious little.
Yeah, so,
Or do the shooting on you. Wait, who's recording?
the mics are recording.
Oh, okay, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, so,
I was like, wait, that's not the camera.
yeah, so the way that it kind of happened, I was just, like, dating this dude that kept cheating on me, like, nonstop. And he would, like, gaslight me, and then I was stressed about school. I had people in my grad school program telling me that because I wanted to be a social media manager that I didn't deserve to be in the program and, like,
I told you that?
all this stuff. Yeah,
What
and they're
the
like,
fuck?
you should just drop out. And I'm like, I'm smarter than you.
People are
Like,
assholes.
oh, they sucked.
Yeah.
They were not nice. But I was just like, all right, we need to figure out exactly what is going to happen here. So it got to the point where I was stressed about money because I was working full time at one point, and then I had no job, and I was just, in school. And then I was stressed about money, I was stressed about this. This dude was cheating on me literally frigging nonstop. And I was just like, I am not good. I need to tell my mom I'm not good. I almost went to Bellevue, Manhattan, and, like, checked myself into the psych ward. It was, like, really bad.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna literally off myself. And then I didn't. So I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. But it's so weird being someone who was suicidal and is now alive.
Yeah.
Because, like, my life, I didn't think I would live past 15. And, like, now every year I'm like, ooh,
Oh, shit.
this is terrifying. Like, what's going to happen next? I had no plan.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be here. I had no plan as for my future or anything. So, like, I feel like I'm kind of just, like, flying blind right now. Like, I still don't know what I want my life to be, but I know I want it to continue.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the
good-
change
yeah.
when it comes to mental health. But, I don't know, shit's just, like, it's weird when you are depressed literally nonstop, and then you good over there?
Good.
Yeah.
Carbonation gives me bad hiccups, and it's like an air bubble.
Is that cereal coming back up?
Yeah, you're gonna
Oh,
yak
oops.
Fruit Loops.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I think.
You're
He's
gonna-
been quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the hardest thing about being depressed. Like, people don't realize it. And like, I never used to be able to be alone with my own thoughts. Like, they were always super detrimental. And then one day I was like, I'm gonna move to Florida and live alone. And I was like, oh, can I actually do that? And I was able to.
Yeah.
And, being away from, like, my main support system is hard. Like, being away from my mom, being away from my brother, being away from a lot of my best friends is super hard, especially when I have one of those bad days. But luckily I found, like, a couple of people down here that can, like, help me out of it and kind of just be there for me. And people I've clicked with from the beginning, really.
Yeah.
But the warning signs for mental health and mental illness in general, obviously I'm a big proponent of going to talk to someone and, like, letting people in and being vulnerable. People talking about it on social media, I don't think it discredits talking about mental health, but I think it makes it harder to find people that actually are clinically diagnosed and have gone through it.
That's tough. I was gonna say, like, I know, like, we were talking about earlier, like, the hashtag thing, people, like, click on that too. So, I mean, couldn't, in a way, social media kind of be easier to find people to talk to? Like, if somebody, like, says, like, even if it might sound kind of weird, like, hashtag depression, couldn't that be in some way a way to find people who suffer similar? I know that's different than this fun.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. So the thing you have to remember is people with depression may not be in the right mental headspace to talk to you and talk you down.
Yeah.
Like, I shared something the other day, and it was like, when you're older, you find you have 3 friends and they live wherever, and I was like, plot twist, we all have a mental illness.
Yeah.
The funny thing about my friends is, whenever I need to vent or whenever they need to vent, usually we're like, are you in the right headspace to listen?
Yeah.
Like, are you in the right headspace to hear this? Because a lot of times people aren't.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
And that's hard.
I've seen that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I have friends, like, that need me sometimes, and I'm like, dude, I'm not in the right headspace to help you.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like shit, but, like, go get a therapist.
That's
Like-
a good thing to say. It's tough to say to your friend too, but that's
That's the thing. I can only be empathetic to a point. Like, I have my own demons that I'm fighting. You know, like, there was... So, Nicole came and stayed with me for, like, 3.5 weeks in June. She left. And she left at 6 a.m. that Sunday. By 7 a.m., my entire house was clean. Everything was put away, whatever. And then I completely broke down.
yeah.
I did not stop crying the entire day. I was, like, shaking. I was not happy. I was not myself. I couldn't stop. And I felt like I had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And it was like, whether it was overstimulation or just finally being home and being able to do my own thing, I just, like, that was the worst I had felt since I was probably, like, 22. And I'm 28 right now. So, like, it was, like, the worst I have felt in years. But the difference between then and now is bad life versus bad day. There's that differentiation where I can decipher whether or not I'm having just a bad day or if it should be the end all be all, which it never is the end all be all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, social media doesn't really help a lot because, you know, you see, like, I share a lot of mental health memes, but, like, there are some about, like, killing yourself and shit that I'm like, all right, that's too close to home. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how I am. And I joke about suicide a lot because I feel like I can. It makes people wildly uncomfortable, which brings me joy. But, like, it's very interesting in the lifting community as a whole, because everyone has mental illness, basically. Or they have something, or they were addicts, or, you know, they have family issues, or they've had some really tough times in life. Like, everyone has something, and lifting is always an outlet for that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, like, brings everything full circle, for me at least. Where it's like, all right, I'm depressed, I lift, I'm not depressed. I'm depressed, I lift, I'm not depressed. Like, it's like this constant, like, cycle where it's like, all right, I'm gonna release some endorphins, I'm gonna feel good. And then I go home and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna eat right. But then if I don't eat right, I'm depressed again. So then I go lift. And it's like, the cycle constantly continues. It, like, doesn't stop.
Yeah.
But being vulnerable with people is kind of what makes it easier. Like, I know I have friends that I can text and I'm like, I'm feeling down. Like, you want FaceTime? Or, like, you want to go do something? You want to go for a walk? Like, you want to come over? Like, what can we do? Like, I don't feel great. And what's really hard is when you see your friends going through something, but they don't see themselves going through it.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't help someone that isn't ready to be helped.
Yeah.
And you can't force someone to see something. So I have friends that are struggling with depression, but they don't know yet.
Yeah. Do you tell them that, or do you just kind of watch and kind of be ready to help?
I watch, I try to ask, like, the right questions. Like, when someone's like, oh, like, I'm exhausted and I don't know why, I'm like, you know, do you feel more fatigued than usual? Like, do you feel like, you know, you're not doing enough? Are you active enough? Like, trying to, like, ask the questions that will have them start thinking about themselves and about what they're doing and how they're living their lives. Like, if you're taking 6-hour naps every day...
That's probably not a good thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how can we, like, how can I kind of plant that seed and help you notice?
Yeah.
And people still have a really big issue with therapy. Which is funny because if I used to be so ashamed of being in therapy when I was in high school, but then when I was in college, it was like, oh, I'm going to my therapist today. I was like, oh shit, me too. Like, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
that's dope.
Yeah.
And then people just started talking about it more, but people still have that weird, like,
That stigma.
I'm too strong, or
Yeah.
or I'm on my parents' healthcare and, like, I don't want them to know. And it's like,
This is
bro, they're your parents. Like,
all right, so I guess it's gonna segue to, like, what do you think about, like, men's mental health? I think I'm not saying it's discredited. I think it doesn't get as much attention.
it doesn't.
Yeah,
At all.
I think there's a lot of dudes, like, I know personally, like, people, like, who would say, like, all those, like, warning signs too, and they just don't want to talk about it. And it's hard to, like, it's that whole, like, kind of thing about, like, you're too tough.
Mhm.
Those two.
So it comes down to, I think, nature versus nurture in a sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of relates to, like, the boys will be boys thing. Like, oh, if a boy hits you, he loves you. Like, if a boy hits you, he likes you. If he teases you, he likes you. Like, when you're younger,
Yeah.
you go on the other side of that where it's like, sack up, like, man up, like, don't cry about it, don't be a baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, so you're having a male child, repress their emotions from a young age. So how are they going to be open to communicate when they get older? You know, and you notice that a lot, not necessarily in platonic friendships or platonic relationships, but you notice it in more like romantic relationships.
Yeah.
You know, I've dated people that will cry whenever they want. Like men that will cry whenever they want. And I was brought up not to cry as a girl. So, like, that makes me uncomfortable as hell. Not because it shows a sign of weakness, but it's just, like...
You're not used to it.
How do I react? Like, what do I do? Like, do I hug? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've had dudes that do that, and then I have dudes that are on the complete other side of the spectrum that just completely shut down or flip out. And it's like, bud, let's talk. Like, what's going on? I can't understand if you shut down and storm out.
Yeah.
I can't help you. Or I can't help understand what's going on. And you notice how people were, like, kind of brought up not through the fault of their parents or anything. Sometimes people don't know any better. But you realize how people were brought up in times of stress, in times of pressure. Like, my mom was raised by 2, like, Irish immigrants. The Irish don't talk about feelings. My dad was raised by Italian immigrants, or his grandparents were Italian immigrants, but they shut down. They don't explain anything. So when I came out of suicidal, I was begging for attention, or I was Moody Maria, or I was all these things. So it was kind of discrediting how I felt and not validating my feelings and making me feel like I was an outcast. Whereas now, if you tell someone, oh yeah, I suffer from depression, they're like, oh dope, me too. And you're like, nice, like great, like we have that in common. Not a great thing to have in common, but like now I have like an ally in that sense. But men's mental health needs to be prioritized more, especially in lifting, because it is a lot of ego, and egos are very, very fragile. So when it comes to lifting, if we go back to injuries, if you're a dude and you don't know how to express your emotions and you get injured and you fall into this black hole, how are you going to ask people for help? How are you going to talk to people and get out of that? You're not. That black cloud's going to follow you until you hit rock bottom.
Yeah. You take it out on everybody else, too.
Exactly.
All your relationships kind of go downhill.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, who has those issues by how many friendships they have and how they treat their friendships.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of people out there that are very insecure with themselves and tear everyone down at any chance that they get. There are a lot of guys, a lot of girls that just... Unfortunately, in the world of social media and in the instant gratification world that we live in, people will tear you down just to make themselves feel better. That's just it. To get a laugh, to take the pressure off them, to take the heat off them. And that's another just, like, unhealthy thing for people to do when it comes to their mental health as well. Like, identify that you're insecure and fix what you can fix and get help with what you can. But that may be the veteran... depressed person in me, like, knowing these things versus
for somebody who doesn't know any better too, and you're kind of telling them all this, but it's hard for them to actually like take that and like register, you know?
Yeah, people can't really. You can only tell someone something so many times before they actually like get it.
Yeah.
And I think we were having this conversation the other day, like, you know, I can tell you one thing, but until you experience it on your own, you're not going to realize that what I told you was accurate.
Yeah.
Or truthful or whatever. And it's a shame. Yeah. Because, you know, there are people there that want to tear you down, but there are also people that want to help you. And if someone comes to you and says, hey, bud, I think you're having a tough time, and you rip their head off, they're not going to come help you again when you need it.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to be as willing to help you. And I personally am not one of those people. I will take the beating until you are ready, because that's how I feel about my friends. But there's just a lot of people that are in denial about how they feel and who they are. And if you're not happy with yourself, a lot of times you're going to take that out on the people that care about you.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, just Brandon.
I've been quiet for a while. I've just been listening. Usually when I find a topic that I'm very interested in but don't know much about, I get very quiet.
Yeah.
I like that in class too. Like, I'm very interactive in class, but like, if I find something I don't know about and I'm very interested in, kind of just sit back and listen. So I kind of, It may look like I'm like spacing out, but I'm listening to every single.
That's the other thing.
I was kind of just staring into the nature the whole time, but I was like,
It was pretty beautiful.
I mean, not really. Like, the thing with me is, like, our society listens to respond, doesn't listen to understand. And when you sit there and you're quiet as you're listening to something, that means you're listening to understand and then respond, versus just waiting for your turn to talk. You know what I mean?
Because also, like, I don't know I'm not an expert on this, so I'm not gonna interrupt you or
I'm
try.
only an expert because I'm depressed.
Yeah, because I don't know much about it, so I wasn't gonna hop in on the conversation when I don't have the information in order to give quality information, actually have a good say in something. Like, we talk about lifting, we talk about school and all that type of stuff. I'm able to contribute to the conversation, but I'm not gonna try to contribute just because I'm a co-host. I'm not gonna try to be heard just because my name's on the image.
That's deep.
I'm just gonna sit back, listen, actually learn. Because I mean, I'm here to learn from everybody. I mean, you know a lot more stuff than I know about different things. I'm pretty sure I know more stuff than you know about different things.
You can never. The one thing I live by personally or professionally is you're never the smartest person in the room, and if you are, you're in the wrong room.
Yep.
So, like, for example, my brother, you're in the wrong room.
Wow.
Fuck you, Hunter. My brother, for example, he was young when I was going through everything, and we kind of kept him out of it. So he didn't understand the mental health or the suicide until he became a cop and had to start taking all of these, like, suicide prevention classes and things like that. And I remember when he was in the academy, he called me or texted me one day, and he was like, dude, like, I understand what you're going through now. He's like, I don't fully understand, but, like, now I can see how it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so maybe we just need more education when it comes to things. And that's why, like, I post about it a lot, and I talk about it whenever I get the chance, because a lot of people are too afraid to ask for help, but they'll listen if it's right in front of them.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. But,
That's
I
crazy.
love a good meme every now and again, too, so it's fine.
Wow. That really went full circle. That's perfect.
I bring it all full circle.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I package everything in a nice bow.
Yeah. So, I don't know where we go from here, but I guess if
I'm
you
kind
want
of pissed the camera died.
Yeah. They can't
I
see us.
were.
You have your own podcast, correct?
I do. I'm
wanna-
going to start it up again.
You want to shout it out? People can always, like, follow you. And then I guess your social media, your Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe the only people that are going to hear this probably just, like, our people.
Friends.
But in case that anybody else does, you can give like, your
But
social
listen,
media handles
if
and
we
shit.
stay consistent and we get big, people
Yeah.
they'll go back and they'll binge our
Like,
shit.
oh, shit, yeah.
So
For sure. Yeah, so my Instagram is my first name and my last name. It'll probably be tagged in everything. My podcast, which should be starting up again, is called the Crushing PRs Podcast. Basically talk about mental and physical PRs, inside, out of the gym, whatever you got going on. That's it.
That's it.
If you're competing in Florida and you want a recap video made, hit me up. I'm at every meet almost.
So we can't do an outro because the camera's not there, but I guess thanks for tuning in. Like us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, subscribe, shout us out, whatever you can do.
follow our
We-
Instagram page at the Sunday Sit Down.
Yep, and we appreciate you so much coming on too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Any closing remarks?
Stay dope.
Perfect. All right. Imagine us like finger gunning it out.
Bird gang.
And